Have you ever felt as though your world was being turned upside down? As if everything that was once stable is now shifting beyond your control? Do not fear. This is not destruction. This is divine reconstruction. Before great blessings arrive, life often becomes unpredictable. You may face sudden challenges, unexpected endings, and moments of deep uncertainty. But understand this: God never subtracts without the intent to multiply. What feels like rejection is in truth redirection. What appears as loss is simply the pruning before the harvest. One of the first signs that something extraordinary is coming your way is separation. You will notice relationships falling away, old habits losing their appeal, and doors closing without explanation. Do not fight this process. God removes what no longer serves you because He is making space for something greater. Next, resistance will appear. The path may suddenly seem filled with obstacles, delays, and tests that stretch your faith to its limits. But recognize this: resistance is the signal that you are moving in the right direction. The bigger the blessing, the greater the opposition. This is not the time to retreat. It is the time to stand firm in the unseen promise. There is the undeniable inner knowing. You will feel it, a quiet but unwavering certainty deep within you. Even when nothing on the outside affirms it, something inside you will refuse to let go of the vision. That is God's way of whispering, "Hold on, I am about to do something beyond what you imagine." But before the manifestation comes the final test: patience. You will be asked to trust, to believe, and to keep walking even when you cannot yet see the destination. This is where most give up. But those who endure, those who trust despite the silence, will walk into a reality far greater than they ever prayed for. And just when you are ready to surrender, you will begin to see the signs. A sudden opportunity, a chance encounter, a message that seems meant just for you. The unseen world will start aligning in ways beyond your comprehension. So if you are in a season of uncertainty, if you are feeling stretched, tested, or alone, rejoice. Something big is on its way. The preparation may be uncomfortable, but the promise is certain. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. Your breakthrough is not far. It is already written. All you must do now is trust, believe, and step forward into the unseen, for what is coming is beyond anything you have ever imagined. There comes a moment in life when everything you once relied upon begins to shift, as if the very foundation beneath your feet is crumbling. The stability you once knew seems distant, and what was familiar suddenly feels foreign. You may find yourself questioning why things are falling apart, why relationships are dissolving, why opportunities that seem so certain are now slipping through your fingers. It is in these moments of deep uncertainty that many feel abandoned, lost in the chaos of unanswered prayers. But what if this apparent destruction is not an end but a beginning? What if what you perceive as loss is in truth divine preparation for something far greater than you could ever imagine? There is a higher order to all things, a rhythm unseen by the physical eye but deeply felt in the soul. When great change is on the horizon, life must first be rearranged to make room for it. You cannot carry the old into the new. The past must be stripped away so that something greater can take its place. It is not punishment, it is not misfortune, it is simply the divine clearing space for what is meant for you. Consider the ways in which growth happens. A seed, before it becomes a tree, must first break apart beneath the soil. To the untrained eye, it would appear as though the seed is being destroyed, but in reality, it is beginning its transformation. The shell must crack, the roots must push through the dirt, and only after enduring darkness and pressure does it finally break through to the light. Such is the process of elevation. Before you can rise, you must first be broken open. Many resist this breaking, clinging to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves them. They hold on to relationships that drain them, jobs that limit them, environments that keep them stagnant. They pray for change but fear what it requires. And so, when the shift begins, when people leave, when doors close, when life seems to unravel, they panic. They fight to hold on to what was instead of trusting what is to come. But you cannot step into the next chapter of your life while clinging to the last. The discomfort you feel is not a sign to retreat. It is a call to surrender. Life is removing what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. The friendships that faded, the opportunities that vanished, the plans that fell apart, it was all necessary. If it was meant for you, it would have stayed. If it was removed, it was never truly yours to begin with, or its purpose in your journey has been fulfilled. In the midst of transition, the mind searches for certainty. It wants to understand why things are happening the way they are, why events unfolded as they did, but this process is not meant to be understood from the perspective of the present. It only becomes clear in hindsight. You must trust that what seems like chaos now is actually divine order in disguise. Think of the caterpillar in its cocoon. From the outside, it looks as though it is trapped, undergoing an unseen struggle, but within, a transformation is taking place. The very structure of its being is dissolving, reshaping, preparing for the moment it will emerge as something completely new. If you were to interrupt this process, to force it out before its time, it would never develop the strength needed to fly. So too must you allow your transformation to unfold. At times the breaking will feel unbearable. You will question why things are happening the way they are. You may feel as though you have been abandoned by life itself, as if everything you work for has been taken from you without reason. But in those moments, remind yourself that you are not being destroyed, you are being redefined. You are not losing, you are being positioned for something greater. There is no elevation without disruption. There is no growth without discomfort. Those who rise the highest are often the ones who endured the most profound transformation. The ones who trusted even when they could not see. The ones who released what no longer served them and stepped forward even when the path ahead was unclear. This is not a setback, it is a setup. Life is not punishing you, it is preparing you. The things being stripped away were never meant to be permanent. They were simply the scaffolding, the temporary structures that supported you for a time. Now they must be removed so that you can stand fully in the new reality that awaits you. So let go. Stop fighting to hold on to what is leaving. Stop mourning what is meant to be released. Trust that the space being cleared is making room for something beyond your imagination. What is coming is greater than what was lost. The divine does not take without the intent to give in greater measure. There comes a time in your journey when the world around you begins to shift in ways you cannot control. The people you once held close start to drift away. The doors that once stood open now close without warning. The familiar conversations fade, and the noise that once filled your days is replaced by an unsettling silence. You may wonder why it is happening, why the ones who were once constant in your life are now absent, why the opportunities that seemed promising have vanished, why you feel more alone than ever before. But what if this isolation is not a punishment but a sign? What if this solitude is not an empty void but a sacred space for transformation? God does not elevate you in the crowd. He separates you first. He pulls you away from distractions, from attachments, from the things that keep you bound to the person you once were. You may feel abandoned, as if the very fabric of your life is unraveling, but what is truly happening is a shedding, a necessary release of all that no longer aligns with your destiny. You cannot move forward while clinging to what was. And so, before the next chapter begins, before the breakthrough arrives, you will find yourself in the wilderness of solitude. This solitude is not a curse, it is a calling, a divine invitation to go deeper, to see more clearly, to become who you were always meant to be. When the noise of the world fades, when the opinions of others no longer cloud your mind, you begin to hear what was always there, the quiet yet powerful voice within. In this silence, you will come to know yourself in ways you never have before. You will see your own strength, your own resilience, your own worth. You will begin to shed the layers of identity that were shaped by others, peeling away the expectations, the false attachments, the need for external validation. The isolation may feel unbearable. Humans are wired for connection, and to suddenly find yourself alone can feel unnatural. You may feel tempted to run back to familiar places, to rekindle old relationships, to seek comfort in the very things that life has been pulling you away from. But you must resist this urge. The separation is happening for a reason. The doors that close were never meant to remain open. The people who left were never meant to stay. If they were part of your destiny, they would still be here. Let them go. Understand that not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next season of your life. Some relationships were only meant to serve a purpose for a time. Some connections were only meant to teach you lessons, not to last forever. Growth requires distance. Elevation requires separation. If you are being pulled into solitude, it is because God is preparing to reveal something to you that cannot be understood in the presence of distractions. The most profound moments of transformation happen in the quiet. It is in this stillness that you will begin to see the bigger picture, to recognize the patterns, to understand why things had to unfold the way they did. The answers you have been seeking will come, not through others, but through the deep knowing within you. This is the season where you will discover the power that has always been inside you, the strength that was buried beneath the noise, the wisdom that was drowned out by the world. Solitude is where your spirit is refined. It is where your faith is tested. It is where you are stripped of all illusions and left with nothing but the truth. And the truth is this: you were never alone. Even in your most isolated moments, even when it felt like no one understood, even when the silence felt unbearable, God was there, watching, guiding, preparing. This separation is not the end. It is the beginning. When the time is right, new doors will open, but this time they will not be doors of illusion or distraction. They will be doors aligned with your highest path. The people who enter your life next will not drain your energy, but uplift you. The opportunities that come will not require you to shrink yourself, but to rise into your fullest expression. Everything that is truly meant for you will find you once you have been prepared to receive it. So embrace the solitude, let it do its work. Allow it to shape you, to strengthen you, to clear the path ahead. The loneliness you feel now is temporary, but the transformation it brings will last forever. You are not being abandoned, you are being elevated. And when you emerge from this season, you will not be the same. You will be clearer, stronger, and more aligned than ever before. This is not a loss. This is preparation for something far greater than you could ever imagine. There will come a moment on your journey when nothing seems to go as planned. The path that once seemed clear suddenly becomes clouded with obstacles. The things that once flowed effortlessly now feel blocked at every turn. You put in the effort, yet nothing moves. You pray, yet the answer seems delayed. You move forward, but resistance meets you at every step. It feels as if everything is working against you. You question whether you should continue or turn back. But what if this opposition is not a sign to stop, but an indication that you are on the verge of something greater? Resistance always comes before revelation. The struggles you are facing are not random. They are not punishment, they are preparation. Every delay, every obstacle, every moment of frustration is shaping you, refining you, strengthening you for what lies ahead. If you were not meant for something greater, there would be no resistance. The fact that you are facing so much opposition is proof that something powerful is unfolded. Think of a seed buried beneath the soil. Before it can break through the surface, it must push through the dirt, the darkness, the weight pressing down on it. The pressure is not meant to destroy it, but to strengthen it for its emergence. And just like that seed, you too are being prepared. The obstacles in your way are not barriers, they are stepping stones. The delays are not denials, they are divine timing at work. In these moments, the mind plays tricks. Doubt creeps in. You begin to wonder if you are doing something wrong, if you have misread the signs, if you should give up altogether. This is where many people turn back. They mistake the resistance for a message to quit. But those who understand the nature of growth know that struggle is part of the process. Every great breakthrough is preceded by opposition. Every transformation requires discomfort. You cannot rise to a new level without first facing the forces that seek to keep you bound to the old one. The opposition you face is not there to stop you. It is there to test you. Do you truly believe in your vision? Will you stand firm when things don't go as expected? Will you keep moving forward when every excuse to quit presents itself? These challenges are refining your character. They are stripping away weakness, self-doubt, and fear. They are forcing you to develop resilience, faith, and patience. Delays can feel frustrating, but they are often the greatest blessings in disguise. What looks like stagnation is actually divine alignment. If something is being delayed, it is because the timing is not yet right. If you were to receive your breakthrough before you were fully prepared, you might mishandle it. There are lessons you must learn, perspectives you must gain, strength you must build before you step into the next level. The delay is not a rejection, it is a divine recalibration. Consider the caterpillar that must endure the darkness of the cocoon before it can emerge as a butterfly. The struggle it faces as it pushes through the cocoon is not a mistake. It is necessary. If someone were to cut the cocoon open prematurely, the butterfly would never develop the strength to fly. The same is true for you. The process may feel slow, the pressure may feel overwhelming, but every challenge is preparing you for the strength you will need to sustain the blessing that is coming. Opposition also serves another purpose. It reveals what is within you. It exposes the parts of you that still operate from fear, that still rely on external validation, that still question whether you are truly capable. And in that exposure, you are given the chance to grow, to release old doubts, to build new confidence, to strengthen your faith, to become someone who no longer reacts to delays with frustration, but with trust. Someone who no longer sees obstacles as roadblocks, but as confirmation that something greater is coming. So when you encounter resistance, do not retreat. Do not shrink back in fear. Do not allow delays to make you doubt. Instead, lean into the process. Trust that every obstacle is shaping you. Trust that the delays are aligning you. Trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep moving forward. The resistance you are facing now is the final test before the breakthrough. The pressure you feel is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that you are on the verge of transformation. You are being refined, prepared, strengthened for something bigger than you can imagine. And when the moment comes, when the doors finally open, when the delays give way to destiny, you will understand why every obstacle was necessary. You will see that nothing was wasted. You will recognize that the resistance was never meant to break you, but to build you into the person who is ready to receive everything that has been waiting for you. There comes a time when everything around you seems uncertain. The world may look unstable, your plans may seem to fall apart, and nothing appears to be going as expected. Yet deep within you there is a quiet voice, a knowing that refuses to fade. It is not loud or demanding, but it is steady, unwavering, and undeniable. No matter how many obstacles arise, this inner conviction remains. This is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind optimism. This is something deeper, something sacred. It is God whispering to you, reminding you that your breakthrough is near. When you are on the verge of something great, external circumstances will often suggest otherwise. You may experience setbacks, delays, and even moments of despair. People may doubt you, opportunities may seem scarce, and the road ahead may feel impossible to navigate. But through it all, there is an unshakable knowing within you that keeps pulling you forward. It is as if your soul already knows what is coming, even if your mind struggles to see it. This inner knowing is not something you create. It is something you receive. It is a divine confirmation, an assurance that cannot be logically explained but can always be felt. It speaks to you in moments of stillness. It strengthens you when fear tries to take over. It reminds you that no matter how things appear, something's shifting in your favor, the breakthrough is already set in motion. And all you have to do is trust. Trusting in this knowing is not always easy. The logical mind demands evidence. It wants proof before belief. It looks at what is happening on the outside and insists that nothing is changing. But faith operates differently. Faith is the ability to stand firm even when there is no visible proof. Faith listens to the whisper of certainty rather than the noise of doubt. Faith does not wait for the manifestation to believe. It believes first, knowing that the manifestation must follow. There is a reason why you feel this inner certainty despite everything around you seeming chaotic. It is because what is coming is already yours. You are not chasing it, you are aligning with it. You are not wishing for it, you are stepping into it. The unshakable knowing within you is evidence that what you seek is already making its way to you. Consider a mother in the final weeks of pregnancy. She may not see the child yet, but she knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is there. The waiting does not make her question whether the child exists. The discomfort does not make her doubt whether birth will happen. She carries the certainty within her, even when she cannot yet hold what she knows is coming. In the same way, you are carrying the promise of what is to come. The discomfort, the waiting, and even the uncertainty are all part of the process. But the knowing within you, that is the ultimate sign that you are on the brink of something extraordinary. This is why when you feel that inner conviction, you must hold on to it. Do not allow external circumstances to shake your belief. Do not let temporary obstacles make you question the inevitable. The very fact that you feel this deep certainty means that God has already set things in motion. It is something that is unfolding in divine timing, but patience is required. Those who give up too soon never get to witness the full manifestation of their faith. The moment just before a breakthrough often feels the most challenging. The pressure increases, the obstacles seem greater, and the waiting feels unbearable. But this is not a sign to quit. It is a sign that you are closer than ever. The resistance before a breakthrough is always the greatest because transformation requires endurance. Many people dismiss their inner knowing because they expect the journey to be easy. They believe that if something is truly meant for them, it should arrive without struggle. But nothing great is birthed without a process. A diamond is not formed without pressure. A butterfly does not emerge without the struggle of breaking free from the cocoon. And in the same way, your breakthrough requires that you hold firm, even when everything around you tries to convince you otherwise. The key is to cultivate trust. When doubt whispers, remind yourself of the certainty that has been placed within you. When circumstances seem to contradict what you believe, remember that reality is always shifting. What you see now is not the final chapter. Keep moving forward, keep believing, and do not waver in your conviction. You will look back and realize that the knowing you had was never wrong. You will see that every delay had a purpose, that every obstacle strengthened you, and that every moment of uncertainty was simply a test of your faith. You will step into what you always knew was yours. And when you do, you will understand why God placed that unshakable knowing within you from the very beginning. There is a moment in every journey when the waiting becomes difficult, when doubt creeps in, and when you wonder if what you desire will ever come to pass. It is in this moment that faith is truly tested. Before receiving something big, you must first prove that you can trust without seeing, that you can believe even when there is no visible evidence. This is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is the divine testing of patience and faith. God stretches your faith before He delivers His promise, not to make you suffer, but to make you ready. Faith is not needed when everything is going well. It is not tested in moments of ease or certainty. Faith is proven in the unseen, in the silence, in the waiting. It is in these moments when nothing seems to be happening that God is watching closely. Will you trust Him even when you don't see the results yet? Will you hold on to His promise even when there is no proof? This is where true faith is formed, not in receiving but in believing before the manifestation arrives. Most people struggle with this process because they want immediate results. They want to see movement, signs, or confirmation before they fully commit to believing. But faith does not work that way. Faith asks you to believe first, to trust before you see, to walk forward even when the path is unclear. It requires surrendering control, releasing the need for instant gratification, and allowing divine timing to unfold. There is a reason why the greatest blessings do not come instantly. If everything arrived the moment we ask for it, there would be no growth, no transformation, and no deepening of trust. The waiting is not a delay, it is a divine process. It is in the waiting that character is built, endurance is strengthened, and faith is refined. Every great blessing requires preparation, and that preparation often comes in the form of patience. Think of a seed planted in the ground. The moment it is placed beneath the soil, it begins its journey of transformation. But in the beginning, nothing is visible. There is no sign of growth, no proof that anything is happening. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming, stretching deep into the earth, preparing to sustain what will soon break through. If someone were to dig up the seed too soon, they would assume it was lifeless. But in reality, it was growing all along. The same is true for your desires, your prayers, your dreams. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean it is not happening. This is where faith is required. Faith asks you to trust the unseen, to believe in the process, and to remain steadfast even when nothing appears to be changing. The greatest rewards go to those who do not give up, who do not allow the silence to shake their confidence, and who continue to walk forward even when there is no visible sign of movement. Patience is not just about waiting, it is about how you wait. Anyone can wait, but very few can wait with unwavering trust. Many become frustrated, discouraged, or doubtful when things do not happen on their timelines. But those who truly understand the divine process remain at peace. They know that every delay is divine alignment, that every moment of waiting is a step closer to fulfillment. They do not allow impatience to lead them to settle for less. They do not try to force things before their time. Instead, they trust, they prepare, and they remain faithful. The reason God stretches your faith before delivering His promise is because what He has for you is greater than what you have imagined. But with greater blessings come greater responsibilities. If your faith is not strong enough to endure the waiting, how will it be strong enough to handle what is coming? If you cannot trust Him in the unseen, how will you trust Him when challenges arise, even after you receive the blessing? Faith is a muscle, and like any muscle, it must be stretched to grow. Every moment of waiting is an opportunity to strengthen that faith, to deepen your trust, and to align yourself with the higher purpose behind your desire. The process is not about testing whether you are worthy. It is about preparing you to fully receive and sustain what is meant for you. Many people give up right before their breakthrough. They grow tired of waiting and assume that if something has not happened yet, it never will. But they fail to realize that the moment when faith feels hardest to hold on to is often the moment right before everything shifts. The greatest blessings require endurance. So, if you find yourself in a season of waiting, do not be discouraged. Do not mistake silence for absence. Do not allow impatience to shake your trust. Instead, lean into faith more deeply. Remind yourself that what is meant for you cannot be taken away, that divine timing is always perfect, and that every moment of waiting is a step toward the fulfillment of the promise. When the breakthrough finally arrives, you will see why the waiting was necessary. You will understand that every delay was actually positioning you for something greater. You will look back and realize that the faith you built during the process was just as valuable as the blessing itself. And in that moment, you will know without a doubt that God was always working, even when you could not see it. There are moments in life when things seem to align in ways that defy logic, when signs appear so clearly that they cannot be ignored. These moments are not coincidences, they are divine synchronicities guiding you towards something greater. When God is about to give you something big, the unseen world begins to communicate with you in unexpected ways. Messages will appear in dreams, through conversations, and even in the words of strangers. Every detail is orchestrated in your favor, moving you closer to your breakthrough. These signs may come in subtle ways at first: a song on the radio that speaks directly to your situation, a random phrase in a book that answers a question you've been asking, or a stranger who unknowingly delivers a message that resonates deeply. At first, these moments might seem like mere coincidences, but as they continue to appear, you begin to realize they are part of something much bigger. The unseen world is aligning everything, whispering to you that your desires are being fulfilled. One of the most common ways these messages arrive is through dreams. In the stillness of the night, when the conscious mind is at rest, divine guidance flows freely. Some dreams come as direct visions, revealing what is to come. Others are more symbolic, requiring you to pay attention to emotions, imagery, and themes. When a dream repeats itself or evokes a deep sense of knowing, it is often a message preparing you for what lies ahead. These dreams are not random. They are glimpses of the unseen forces at work, shifting things in your favor. Beyond dreams, synchronicities will appear in your waking life. You may think of someone and then unexpectedly hear from them. You may be contemplating a major decision when a sign suddenly confirms what your intuition already knew. Repeating numbers, familiar symbols, or meaningful patterns begin to emerge, reminding you that you are on the right path. The world around you begins to reflect your inner state, proving that everything is connected in ways beyond human understanding. These divine signs often come when doubt tries to creep in. Just when you begin to question whether your desires will manifest, an unexpected confirmation appears. A conversation with a stranger might provide the exact reassurance you needed. A random event might push you in the direction you were hesitant to take. This is how the unseen world works, moving through people, places, and circumstances to lead you where you are meant to go. These synchronicities serve as a call to take action. When an opportunity arises that aligns with what you have been praying for, it is not a mistake. When the right people show up in your life at the perfect time, it is not by accident. The universe is responding to your faith, arranging everything according to divine timing. Your only task is to recognize these moments and trust them. Many people dismiss these signs, believing them to be coincidences, but nothing in this world happens without purpose. The more you pay attention, the more you realize that life is always communicating with you. The people you meet, the situations you encounter, and the unexpected messages that come your way are all part of the divine orchestration. Every detail is intentional, guiding you towards something far greater than you can see. Sometimes the messages come in ways that challenge you. A door closing, a sudden change in plans, or a delay that forces you to wait. All of these are signs too. Not all synchronicities are about moving forward immediately. Some are about pausing, redirecting, or preparing. If something you desire does not come as expected, it is not a realignment. What is meant for you will always find its way, and the signs will continue to appear until you fully trust the process. The most powerful synchronicities are the ones that stir something deep within you. It may be an unexplainable feeling of knowing, a moment of overwhelming peace, or a sudden realization that everything is happening exactly as it should. This is the unseen world affirming that you are not alone, that your prayers have been heard, and that your breakthrough is unfolding. When you start seeing these unexpected signs and synchronicities, do not ignore them. Pay attention, write them down, reflect on them, trust them. The more you acknowledge them, the more they will appear. The more you trust, the clearer the path becomes. You are being guided, supported, and aligned with something far greater than you can imagine. When God is about to give you something big, the signs will be undeniable. You will hear messages in unexpected places, see patterns too precise to be random, and feel an inner knowing that cannot be shaken. This is the unseen world at work, aligning everything in your favor. Stay open, stay aware, and most importantly, stay in faith. What is coming is already yours. When God is about to give you something big, He prepares you in ways that may not always make sense at first. Your life may feel disrupted, but it is only being rearranged for something greater. You may experience isolation, but this solitude is where clarity and strength are born. Unusual opposition and delays may arise, but they are not roadblocks. They are signs that you are stepping into something beyond what you can currently see. Amidst all of this, an unshakable inner knowing will persist, reminding you that your breakthrough is near. Your faith will be tested, but this testing is not to break you. It is to strengthen your trust in what you cannot yet see. And when the time is right, unexpected signs and synchronicities will begin to appear, confirming that everything is aligning in your favor. Through it all, remember that nothing is happening by chance. Every delay, every test, and every sign is a part of a divine plan leading you to something greater than you can imagine. Trust the process. Hold on to faith even when the path is unclear. What is meant for you is already unfolding. And when the moment arrives, you will realize that every challenge was simply preparation for the blessing ahead. Thank you for listening. Stay strong, stay faithful, and be ready. Your time is coming.
There is a quiet power that arises when you resist the urge to share your troubles with the world. Our instinct often leads us to others. When we face difficulties, we seek understanding, comfort, or simply someone to listen. But what if the true resolution of our struggles lies not in sharing, but in keeping them silently within, allowing the answers to emerge from our own depths? Silence is a potent force, often misunderstood or overlooked, but it is within this quiet state that true power and transformation reside. In the world around us, filled with noise, opinions, and incessant information, the value of silence becomes even more precious. Silence is not an absence, not a void to be filled with distractions or idle talk. Rather, it is a space of potential, a fertile ground where ideas can grow and solutions can arise. Choosing silence, especially in moments of adversity or uncertainty, allows for a deeper alignment with our own wisdom and inner strength. We find the chance to reflect and listen to our innermost thoughts, free from the clutter of external voices. When we sit quietly and allow our minds to settle, clarity emerges. This is where answers begin to take form, not from a frantic search outside ourselves, but from an inner stillness. Silence helps us to hear ourselves unfiltered and unimpeded, revealing truths we might have overlooked in the haste to speak or seek reassurance from others. In many ways, silence is a sanctuary. It provides protection from the influence and energy of others, preserving our own strength and our own intentions. Often when we encounter difficulties, the instinct is to share them, to unload our burdens onto those around us. We seek comfort, perhaps hoping that others will help bear the weight of our troubles. But in doing so, we often expose ourselves to energies that may not be helpful or may even intensify the feelings we wish to overcome. Others, even with the best intentions, may impose their perspectives, beliefs, and judgments onto our circumstances, causing us to question ourselves or feel conflicted. By remaining silent, we avoid this noise and interference, allowing our own perspective to flourish unchallenged. There is a profound strength in withholding, in keeping our thoughts and challenges within, untainted by external opinion. Silence, in these moments, acts as a protective shield. It maintains the purity of our intentions and guards the sanctity of our thoughts. By not sharing, we avoid the subtle or sometimes overt influences that may shift us off course or create doubt. In silence, our thoughts are allowed to fully form, to mature and develop without interference. It is a sacred space, untouched by the world, where our ideas can grow undisturbed. We also allow space for patience to do its work. Solutions often come to us not through force or urgency, but through patience and trust. Silence nurtures this process. When we refrain from speaking, we allow life to unfold naturally, without the rush or urgency that often accompanies spoken words and shared struggles. We come to understand that not every problem demands immediate resolution. Silence gives us the patience to wait, to watch, and to let things evolve without the pressure of quick solutions. This patience builds resilience, showing us that true strength comes not from constant action, but from deliberate, intentional stillness. Silence strengthens our ability to handle adversity independently. When we continuously rely on others to listen to our problems, we inadvertently foster a dependency, weakening our own resilience and self-sufficiency. Silence, however, teaches us to rely on ourselves, to trust in our own ability to cope, adapt, and overcome. It cultivates a deep inner strength, a belief in our own capacity to navigate life's challenges. With each silent moment we endure, we become stronger, more capable, and more self-assured. We learn to trust in our own power to create change and find solutions, unassisted and unadvised. Silence also aligns us with a higher perspective. By choosing silence, we become more attuned to our intuition and inner wisdom, a connection that often grows faint when we are engulfed in noise. In the quiet, we are able to sense what truly matters, what decisions resonate with our deepest values. We are no longer swayed by the fleeting opinions of others, the temporary worries or fears that might be magnified through conversation. Instead, silence brings us closer to a state of inner knowing, a state where we are aligned with our truest selves and our highest intentions. Choosing silence is not about suppressing or ignoring challenges, rather, it is about finding a way to approach them from a place of strength and clarity. When we sit in silence, we give ourselves the space to feel, to process, and to transform. The act of holding back, of not speaking out every thought or worry, becomes a way of cultivating mastery over our own minds. It allows us to rise above the immediate impulse to vent or seek validation, leading us instead toward a state of empowerment and control. In this state, silence becomes a source of creative power. Just as the earth must lie quiet in winter to prepare for the abundance of spring, our own silence lays the groundwork for growth and transformation. In silence, we connect with our own potential, with the creative force that lies within each of us. By not expending our energy through constant talk or seeking affirmation, we conserve it, allowing it to build and eventually manifest in ways that support our deepest desires and intentions. In a world that so often equates speaking with strength, silence is the quiet power that waits, that listens, that prepares. It teaches us that our voice need not be heard to be powerful, that our strength lies not in expression, but in understanding and in choosing when to speak and when to remain quiet. Silence holds immense strength, wisdom, and clarity. It is a space in which we can find ourselves anew, away from the noise and distraction, and in that silence discover a profound power that was there all along, waiting to be acknowledged and embraced. Your mind is a sacred place, a sanctuary of thoughts, dreams, and desires, and it deserves careful protection. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and external influences, guarding your mind becomes essential. Just as you would safeguard your most treasured possessions, your mind requires the same kind of vigilance. When left unguarded, it is vulnerable to the subtle yet powerful influence of other people's perspectives, societal expectations, and fleeting emotions. This openness to external forces can shape, even alter, our beliefs, values, and inner peace. Guarding your mind is about setting boundaries and preserving a mental space that is solely yours, free from the clutter of outside opinions and distractions. Imagine your mind as a well-cultivated garden. It thrives when nurtured with positive thoughts, meaningful intentions, and a focused vision. However, if left unguarded, it can quickly become overgrown with weeds, negative influences, fears, doubts, and expectations imposed by others. Without vigilance, these invasive elements take root, distorting your self-image, clouding your clarity, and weakening your confidence. Guarding your mind is not about shutting yourself off from the world, but rather about choosing carefully what you allow in and what you keep out. Every conversation you engage in, every piece of information you absorb, every opinion you consider, leaves an imprint. Some of these imprints are constructive, helping to build your understanding and inspiring growth. Others, however, are like seeds of doubt, leading you to question yourself, or even planting beliefs that run counter to your true nature. Guarding your mind means being discerning about these influences. It's a practice of self-awareness, where you consciously decide which influences you will let in and which you will discard. It's important to remember that not everyone's perspective is aligned with your own goals or values. When you open your mind too freely to the views of others, you risk diluting your own vision. People, however well-intentioned, may project their own limitations and fears onto you. They may offer advice from their own place of caution or limitation, unintentionally placing doubt in your mind. By guarding your mind, you protect yourself from absorbing these limitations as your own. You recognize that others' fears or skepticism are reflections of their own experience, not yours. Guarding your mind is also about avoiding the habit of seeking constant validation from others. When you rely on outside approval to feel confident in your choices, you leave your mind open to their judgments, which can shift your inner direction. It's tempting to seek opinions, to look for confirmation that we're on the right path, but this often leads to confusion. With each external opinion, your mind takes in a piece of someone else's vision, slowly eroding the clarity of your own. By guarding your mind, you give yourself the freedom to pursue your path unencumbered by the need for external validation. Social media, news, and entertainment are other significant influences on the mind. The stories we consume and the images we see all leave a residue, subtly shaping our perceptions of what is normal, desirable, or worthy of pursuit. Left unchecked, these influences can crowd out our unique aspirations and ideas. Guarding your mind means being mindful of the content you consume. It involves selecting sources of inspiration that resonate with your values and intentions, and filtering out the distractions that do not serve your growth. By curating what you allow into your mental space, you create an environment that supports rather than hinders your purpose. Guarding your mind also entails cultivating a level of emotional resilience. When you're easily swayed by the opinions or criticisms of others, your mind becomes vulnerable to emotional fluctuations. If someone's disapproval or negativity can disrupt your inner peace, then your mind remains open to unnecessary emotional burdens. Emotional resilience is the strength to maintain your own perspective and inner calm, even when others try to pull you into their emotional storms. By developing this resilience, you reinforce your mind's boundaries, maintaining your peace and clarity in all situations. The practice of guarding your mind extends to your inner dialogue as well. The way you speak to yourself, the words you choose, and the thoughts you nurture all play a role in shaping your mental landscape. Negative self-talk and habitual self-doubt are like intruders in your mind, eroding your confidence and clouding your vision. Guarding your mind means being conscious of these inner patterns, choosing thoughts and words that uplift and empower you. By practicing positive and constructive self-talk, you ensure that your mind is a place of encouragement and strength. Guarding your mind ultimately enhances your connection to your intuition. Intuition is the voice of your inner wisdom, offering guidance that aligns with your true self. However, when the mind is filled with noise and external influences, it becomes difficult to hear this inner voice. By protecting your mental space, you create the quiet and clarity needed to hear and trust your intuition. Guarding your mind means trusting your own insights over the advice of others, knowing that only you truly understand the depth and uniqueness of your path. Guarding your mind is an act of self-respect. It honors the uniqueness of your journey and recognizes that your thoughts and intentions deserve careful attention. Just as you protect your physical space, your finances, or your health, protecting your mind is a fundamental part of creating a life that reflects your true self. It's an acknowledgement that your mental and emotional space is precious, deserving of respect and care. Our minds have an incredible ability to shape our reality, often in ways we may not even be fully aware of. When we focus on our problems or challenges, especially when we talk about them repeatedly or dwell on them mentally, we unintentionally reinforce their presence in our lives. This act of reinforcing the negative is like planting seeds in a garden. Whatever seeds you plant and nurture, whether they're thoughts of hope and progress or of fear and worry, will eventually grow. By focusing on the negative, we plant these seeds deeper into our minds, creating a self-perpetuating cycle where negativity becomes more entrenched and harder to let go of. When we give voice to our problems, especially by talking about them to others frequently, we reaffirm and, in some ways, validate these issues as central to our lives. Each time we recount a difficulty or relive a negative experience, our minds revisit and emotionally re-engage with it. This repetition embeds the memory and feelings associated with it even deeper, giving it a more substantial place in our mental landscape. The mind does not distinguish between an event that happened in the past and one being experienced in the present. So every time we bring up a negative story or issue, it reactivates the original stress, anger, or sadness. This process solidifies that memory and those emotions, making it all too easy for them to return unbidden, even when we prefer they didn't. A negative focus also impacts our relationships with others. By consistently sharing our struggles, we may unintentionally create an energy of heaviness or dependency, expecting others to help carry our burdens or validate our feelings. This can alter the balance in relationships, leading to a dynamic where we rely on others for emotional support instead of fostering resilience and self-reliance within ourselves. It's important to recognize that while there is value in sharing and seeking support, constantly talking about problems can drain not only our own energy but also the energy of those around us. When we constantly reinforce our own struggles, we may find that our relationships take on a similar weight, centering around complaint and criticism rather than encouragement and inspiration. One of the reasons we tend to reinforce the negative is that it feels familiar. The mind naturally gravitates toward what it knows, even if it's not beneficial. There's a comfort in the familiar patterns of thought, a sense of control in analyzing, repeating, and mentally rehearsing what we already know. It's as if our minds seek reassurance in this repetition, even when the focus is on negative thoughts. Over time, we become accustomed to certain ways of thinking and feeling, which then turn into habits. These mental habits reinforce negativity, making it challenging to break free from the cycle, even when we want to move toward a more positive outlook. Breaking the habit of reinforcing the negative requires a conscious effort to redirect the mind. Rather than indulging in negative thoughts, we can choose to focus on solutions, on gratitude, or on the positive aspects of our lives. This is not a denial of reality, but rather a decision to emphasize what is constructive rather than destructive. The first step is awareness, recognizing when you are repeating or reliving a negative experience or thought. Often we do this without realizing it, falling into the habit of mentally or verbally revisiting our challenges. By becoming aware of these moments, we can stop ourselves and shift our focus towards something more uplifting or productive. Practices such as mindfulness and positive affirmations can be powerful tools in counteracting negative reinforcement. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts without judgment, to see them as passing clouds rather than permanent fixtures. By observing without attaching, we can learn to release negative thoughts rather than reinforcing them. Positive affirmations, on the other hand, are a proactive way to replace negative thoughts with empowering ones. When practiced consistently, affirmations can help create a mental landscape that is geared toward growth and positivity, reducing the space available for negative reinforcement. Another way to reduce reinforcing the negative is by engaging in constructive conversations. Instead of recounting problems or struggles, share your aspirations, goals, or small achievements with others. Talk about what excites or motivates you. This not only shifts your focus but also invites those around you to contribute positively to your growth. When you focus on the positive aspects of your life, you not only reinforce these experiences in your mind, but also draw more positivity into your interactions and relationships. This change in focus can transform the energy around you, creating a ripple effect where positivity begets more positivity. In shifting away from reinforcing the negative, you take back control of your mental space. Your mind becomes a place of empowerment rather than entrapment. You begin to see that challenges and difficulties do not define you, they are simply passing events. By redirecting your focus, you open yourself to a wider range of possibilities and potential solutions that may have been hidden in the shadow of negativity. This shift allows you to cultivate resilience, creativity, and a proactive approach to life. Life inevitably presents us with challenges, but reinforcing the negative only adds weight to these experiences. By choosing to be vigilant with your thoughts and to focus on the constructive rather than the destructive, you shape a reality that is not limited by problems, but is expanded by solutions. In consciously directing your attention, you claim a greater level of freedom, allowing yourself to rise above limitations and embrace the potential for growth in every situation. Our inner dialogue is a powerful force shaping the course of our lives, often in ways we may not consciously realize. The words we silently speak to ourselves not only reflect our current beliefs, but also play a role in creating our future experiences. This inner dialogue is like an ongoing conversation with the universe, shaping the very fabric of our reality by setting intentions, forming beliefs, and aligning our minds with what we expect to receive. Whether we speak words of encouragement, doubt, or possibility, our inner thoughts carry a profound influence over our state of mind, our actions, and ultimately the life we manifest. When we consciously guide our inner dialogue, we take a vital step toward intentional manifestation. Imagine that every thought you have about yourself, every expectation about life, and every interpretation of an experience is a message you're sending out. It's as if you're constantly placing an order with the universe, telling it what you believe you deserve, what you expect to happen, and what kind of person you see yourself as. If your inner dialogue is filled with thoughts of lack, doubt, or fear, then those very thoughts will shape the world around you, reinforcing those beliefs and attracting experiences that match. Our inner dialogue is also deeply tied to our self-concept, which forms the basis of what we manifest. Our self-concept is the mental image we hold about ourselves, our perceived strengths, weaknesses, limitations, and possibilities. If we view ourselves as lacking, undeserving, or incapable, then our inner dialogue will mirror this belief. We might say things like, "That's out of my reach," or "I don't have what it takes," and these thoughts become the blueprint for the life we create. However, if we cultivate a self-concept rooted in abundance, confidence, and possibility, our inner dialogue will reflect that belief, supporting a mindset that's open to growth and fulfillment. One key to effective manifestation is to practice inner dialogue that reflects the outcome we desire, rather than the limitations we fear. When we speak to ourselves as if we are already in possession of our goals, we create a mental and emotional state that aligns with that reality. Instead of saying, "I hope one day I'll succeed," say, "I am capable and on the path to success." This subtle shift from hoping or wanting to believing and affirming creates a foundation where your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in harmony toward your goals. When your inner dialogue is rooted in present tense affirmations, you mentally condition yourself to expect and embrace the positive outcomes you wish to see. Visualizing our desires while engaging in positive inner dialogue can amplify the manifestation process. When we visualize, we create a mental picture of our desired outcome, which serves as a vivid, motivating image in our mind's eye. By combining visualization with empowering self-talk, we reinforce a vision of success that feels both real and achievable. For example, if you're striving for a new job, imagine yourself thriving in that role, feeling fulfilled and successful, while affirming thoughts like, "I am capable and deserving of this opportunity." This integrated approach bridges the gap between desire and belief, making it easier to attract the experiences you wish to manifest. It's essential to remain consistent in this practice. Changing your inner dialogue requires persistence and patience, as old habits of negative thinking don't dissolve overnight. But with each conscious thought and every positive affirmation, you chip away at limiting beliefs, creating new mental pathways that lead to empowerment and possibility. Consistency helps these affirmations become deeply embedded in your mind, so they become the default way you think about yourself and your goals. Manifestation through inner dialogue is about more than simply repeating positive phrases. It's about embodying the energy of your desired outcome and aligning your thoughts with the life you wish to live. As you nurture this inner dialogue, you will notice shifts not only in your self-concept, but also in your external reality. Opportunities may begin to appear, and challenges will feel less overwhelming because your mind is now attuned to possibility rather than limitation. Your inner dialogue is the voice of your reality. When you speak to yourself in alignment with your dreams and aspirations, you invite those desires to take form in your life. You become the creator of your experiences, shaping your world through the thoughts you choose to nurture. As you master the art of positive, intentional inner dialogue, you unlock the power to manifest a life that reflects your true potential and deepest desires. Energy and vibration are fundamental forces that shape every aspect of existence. Everything in the universe, from the smallest particles to the largest galaxies, vibrates with energy. This includes not only the physical forms we see and touch, but also the intangible, like thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Each of these has a specific vibrational frequency, and together they create a resonance that attracts similar frequencies. The way we manage our own energy and vibration, therefore, becomes crucial in determining the experiences we draw into our lives. At its core, energy is a measure of movement, whether at the atomic level or on a broader cosmic scale. When it comes to human experiences, energy takes on an emotional, mental, and even spiritual dimension. We feel the impact of our own energy in our moods, our attitudes, and the way we perceive the world around us. Every thought, emotion, or belief carries a unique vibrational frequency. Positive emotions like joy, love, and gratitude operate at a higher frequency, while negative emotions like fear, anger, and doubt vibrate at a lower frequency. By tuning into higher vibrational states, we can access a more peaceful, balanced, and fulfilling life. Our vibrational frequency influences not only our inner state, but also our interactions with others and our external reality. Much like a radio station, we transmit and receive signals based on our frequency. When we are vibrating at a high frequency, we are more likely to attract positive experiences, people, and opportunities that align with that frequency. Conversely, if we operate from a lower frequency dominated by fear or negativity, we may draw in challenges, obstacles, or relationships that mirror this energy. This concept of like attracting like is a cornerstone of the law of attraction, which posits that we attract into our lives what we focus on, consciously or subconsciously. Raising our vibration requires awareness and intentionality. We can start by observing our thoughts and emotions, identifying any patterns of negativity or self-doubt that may be holding us back. When we catch ourselves in low energy states, we can shift our focus to thoughts that uplift us or bring us joy. This practice transforms our habitual thinking, replacing limiting beliefs with affirming, empowering ones. Meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude are powerful tools to facilitate this shift, as they help us cultivate a state of inner peace, acceptance, and contentment. The people we surround ourselves with also play a significant role in our vibrational frequency. We naturally tend to align our energy with those we spend the most time with. If we are surrounded by individuals who operate at a higher frequency, those who exude kindness, positivity, and compassion, we are more likely to feel uplifted, supported, and inspired. On the other hand, if we are constantly in the presence of negativity, it becomes more challenging to maintain a high vibration. Protecting our energy by being mindful of the company we keep is essential in preserving our vibrational state. Beyond thoughts and relationships, our physical environment and daily habits influence our energy and vibration. A cluttered, disorganized space can make us feel stressed or uninspired, while a clean, welcoming environment promotes clarity and peace. Simple acts like decluttering, bringing in natural light, or incorporating elements of nature can create a space that fosters high vibrational energy. Similarly, habits like regular exercise, a nutritious diet, and sufficient rest nourish our bodies and minds, supporting a healthy, vibrant state. Our intentions also play a crucial role in shaping our energy. When we act with purpose and clarity, we infuse our actions with a powerful vibration. This intentionality resonates with the universe, setting in motion a chain of events aligned with our goals. For example, when we set an intention to approach each day with gratitude, we train our minds to focus on what is positive, which raises our vibration and attracts more reasons to feel grateful. Intentions are like guiding lights. They direct our energy toward what we wish to cultivate and manifest. It's essential to remember that raising our vibration is not about avoiding or suppressing difficult emotions. Challenges and painful experiences are part of the human journey and offer valuable lessons. By acknowledging these emotions without judgment and allowing ourselves to feel them, we create space for healing and transformation. Processing emotions with compassion prevents them from being stored in our energetic field, where they might otherwise lower our vibration over time. Instead, we honor these emotions, release them, and return to a balanced state, allowing us to grow and evolve. Our energy also has the potential to impact those around us. Just as a stone dropped in a pond creates ripples, our vibrational state influences the energy of our surroundings. When we bring positive, loving energy into a space, it can elevate the mood and frequency of others. This is why acts of kindness, empathy, and compassion are so powerful. They create an environment where others feel valued and uplifted. By radiating positive energy, we contribute to a collective vibrational shift, inspiring others to cultivate a similar resonance within themselves. Aligning with higher frequencies through practices like visualization can also accelerate manifestation. When we visualize our goals, we create a mental image that brings the desired outcome closer to us. If we combine this visualization with emotions that match the frequency of our desires, such as gratitude, joy, or fulfillment, we create a vibrational alignment with that reality. This alignment acts like a magnet, drawing circumstances and people that resonate with our vision. Visualization and positive emotional energy work hand in hand, creating a powerful framework for manifestation. Cultivating a high vibration is about embracing a life rooted in love, compassion, and authenticity. As we become more mindful of our thoughts, emotions, and surroundings, we learn to make choices that uplift our spirit and align with our true essence. Our energy becomes a guiding force, leading us toward experiences that reflect our highest self. When we vibrate at a high frequency, life flows more harmoniously, opportunities emerge, and we feel connected to a sense of purpose and fulfillment. The journey to a higher vibration is a lifelong practice, but every step brings us closer to a reality that resonates with our deepest desires. By consciously cultivating positive energy and vibration, we shape a life that reflects the beauty, abundance, and joy we seek. This inner harmony not only transforms our individual lives, but also contributes to a collective elevation of energy, creating a ripple effect that touches everything and everyone we encounter. Believing in your inner authority is about recognizing the inherent wisdom, power, and clarity within you. It means developing the confidence to make decisions rooted in your own understanding, rather than constantly seeking validation or approval from others. When you trust your inner authority, you move through life with a sense of purpose and authenticity that is independent of outside influences or expectations. It is a journey of discovering and honoring your own values, intuition, and insights, and ultimately, it is a path toward a more fulfilled and self-empowered existence. Inner authority arises from the quiet, steadfast voice within, the one that remains when the noise of opinions and external pressures fade. For many, this voice might be subdued or drowned out by years of conditioning that encourages us to rely on others' perspectives or conform to societal expectations. However, beneath these layers of conditioning, your true self holds a depth of wisdom that is uniquely yours. This wisdom knows what you truly need, what aligns with your highest good, and how best to navigate life's challenges. Learning to listen to and trust this inner guidance requires intentionality and a willingness to step away from the familiar pattern of relying solely on external feedback. The journey to embracing your inner authority begins with self-awareness. This requires acknowledging any tendencies to prioritize others' opinions over your own and understanding why these patterns developed. Perhaps there was a time when relying on others felt safer or more comfortable, or maybe you've been conditioned to believe that others know what's best for you. By recognizing these influences, you can begin to gently release them and reconnect with your own voice. This isn't about disregarding others' input entirely, rather, it's about finding balance and ensuring that your voice carries the most weight in your decisions. Cultivating inner authority is also deeply tied to self-trust. Trusting yourself means believing that you are capable of making sound decisions, that you can learn from any mistakes along the way, and that your intuition has value. Self-trust grows with practice. Start by making small decisions independently, then reflect on how those choices align with your values and goals. Each time you honor your own guidance, you reinforce the belief that your inner wisdom is worthy of respect and attention. Over time, these small acts of self-trust accumulate, helping you to build a solid foundation of inner confidence. Intuition is a vital component of inner authority. Often described as a gut feeling or knowing, intuition operates beyond logic, tapping into a deeper, sometimes unexplainable, sense of what is right for you. However, in a world that often prioritizes rationality, intuition can be dismissed as less reliable. Reconnecting with your intuition involves learning to recognize these subtle nudges and taking them seriously. It may require experimentation, such as following an intuitive hunch, even when it seems illogical, and observing the outcome. As you validate your intuition through experience, you build trust in this aspect of your inner authority, strengthening your ability to make aligned choices. A critical aspect of believing in your inner authority is setting boundaries, both internally and externally. Boundaries help you protect your energy and values, ensuring that your life remains in alignment with what truly matters to you. Boundaries can look like saying no to things that don't resonate with you, even if they're popular or expected. They can also involve stepping back from relationships or situations that undermine your confidence or self-worth. Setting and maintaining boundaries can be challenging, especially if others are accustomed to influencing your choices. However, each boundary reinforces your commitment to your own authority, reminding both yourself and others that you honor your truth above all else. Believing in your inner authority often requires letting go of the need for validation. While approval from others can feel reassuring, it can also become a limitation if it dictates your actions or decisions. When you seek constant validation, you inadvertently give away your power, allowing others to determine your worth or direction. Releasing the need for external approval opens the door to a deeper sense of freedom and self-assurance. This doesn't mean you will never feel uncertain or seek advice, but it does mean that you are the final arbiter of your choices, regardless of others' opinions. When you embrace your inner authority, you align yourself with authenticity and purpose. You live in a way that feels true to who you are, rather than conforming to external expectations or societal pressures. This authenticity can bring about a profound sense of peace, as you are no longer living a life shaped by others' standards. Living authentically means honoring your unique gifts, perspectives, and desires, even if they differ from what's expected. It's a way of saying, "This is who I am, and I trust that my path is right for me." With this foundation, you attract relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with your true self, creating a more meaningful and fulfilling life. There will inevitably be moments of doubt along this journey. Doubt is a natural part of growth and transformation. When it arises, remember that even the wisest people experience moments of uncertainty. Use these instances as opportunities to reconnect with your inner authority. Ground yourself through practices that bring clarity and calm, such as meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature. Reflect on past experiences when trusting yourself led to positive outcomes, and remind yourself of the strength and resilience you possess. Doubt may visit, but it does not have to stay. By staying connected to your inner authority, you can navigate doubt with grace and continue moving forward. Believing in your inner authority ultimately leads to a life marked by self-respect and empowerment. Each time you listen to your inner voice and honor its guidance, you strengthen your sense of self-worth. This self-respect becomes the bedrock of a life where you make choices aligned with your values, interests, and aspirations. As you continue to rely on your own wisdom, you cultivate an unwavering trust in yourself that cannot be easily shaken, regardless of external circumstances. This inner strength enables you to face challenges, embrace opportunities, and approach life with an open heart and a clear mind. The journey of believing in your inner authority is one of deep personal transformation. It asks you to step out of the familiar and trust the unknown, to look within rather than without. While this path may not always be easy, it is profoundly rewarding. The freedom, peace, and fulfillment that come from living in alignment with your true self are unparalleled. When you embrace your inner authority, you become the architect of your life, creating a reality that reflects your deepest truth. You no longer seek permission to be who you are or to follow your dreams. Instead, you give yourself that permission, knowing that the wisdom you need is already within you. Embracing solitude is a powerful practice that allows us to gain clarity, reconnect with our inner voice, and deepen our self-understanding. In a world filled with constant noise, activity, and expectations, taking time for solitude offers a sanctuary of stillness where we can step back from distractions and immerse ourselves in reflection. This intentional choice to be alone allows us to listen deeply to ourselves, free from external influences. When we carve out time to be by ourselves, we create the space to reconnect with our core values, true desires, and personal truth. Solitude is not about loneliness or isolation, but about choosing to cultivate a relationship with oneself. It is in these quiet moments that we learn to appreciate our own company, exploring thoughts and emotions without interference. In solitude, we may find that we can drop the masks we often wear in social settings and get in touch with a more authentic version of ourselves. This connection to our inner self is valuable because it fosters a sense of grounding and independence, helping us to see clearly what matters most to us, free from external opinions or societal pressures. A crucial benefit of solitude is its ability to provide perspective. When we step away from the constant stimulation of our daily lives, we gain distance from immediate concerns and stressors, allowing us to observe them more objectively. Problems that seemed insurmountable can appear more manageable when viewed from a place of calm and distance. In the stillness, we often see new solutions and possibilities that were previously hidden by the busyness of our routines. This clarity that arises from solitude can lead to more effective decision-making, as we are no longer reacting impulsively, but are instead grounded in thoughtful reflection. Through solitude, we also become more attuned to our intuition. Our intuition, or inner knowing, often speaks in whispers rather than shouts, and it is easy to overlook when we are overwhelmed by noise and activity. In solitude, we create the quiet necessary to hear this inner voice. As we practice listening to our intuition, we build a stronger relationship with it, learning to trust its guidance and insights. This inner guidance can lead us toward choices and paths that align with our authentic self, even if they differ from the expectations of others. Spending time in solitude can also be a deeply restorative practice. It provides an opportunity to recharge and center ourselves, replenishing energy that may be depleted by constant interaction or obligation. But many people are surprised to find how energizing solitude can be, as it allows us to detach from demands and responsibilities and simply be present with ourselves. This sense of restoration is particularly valuable in a fast-paced world that often encourages productivity and external validation over inner peace. Embracing solitude offers a counterbalance, reminding us of the importance of rest, reflection, and self-care. We can explore our creativity and imagination in ways that might not be possible in the presence of others. When we are alone, there is no need to filter our thoughts or ideas to fit social norms or expectations. This freedom allows us to think deeply, dream expansively, and connect with ideas or insights that may have been obscured in daily life. Many artists, writers, and thinkers value solitude precisely because it grants them the mental space to tap into their creative potential. In solitude, we can allow our minds to wander, unrestricted by judgment or constraint, discovering new ideas and perspectives that can bring fresh inspiration into our lives. Another aspect of solitude that enhances clarity is the opportunity for self-reflection. Taking time alone to reflect on our experiences, actions, and emotions enables us to gain insight into our behaviors and patterns. Self-reflection allows us to understand the motivations behind our choices, the impact of our actions, and the areas where we may want to grow or change. This kind of honest self-examination is essential for personal development, as it helps us to identify what serves us and what may be holding us back. In solitude, we can approach this reflection without the fear of judgment, making it easier to be open and truthful with ourselves. The benefits of solitude extend to our relationships as well. When we are secure in our own company and have a strong sense of self, we bring a healthier, more grounded presence into our interactions with others. Solitude gives us the time to process emotions independently, reducing the likelihood of projecting unresolved issues onto others. It helps us become less dependent on external validation or approval, allowing us to engage in relationships from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. With this foundation, we can form connections based on mutual respect and authenticity, rather than out of fear or dependency. Embracing solitude does not mean we must live a solitary life. It simply means making time to be alone intentionally, seeing solitude as a tool for personal growth and clarity, rather than something to be avoided. While social connection is important, solitude teaches us that it is equally essential to cultivate a connection with ourselves. By learning to be content and even joyful in our own company, we discover a profound sense of independence that allows us to navigate the world with confidence and resilience. In a society that often equates solitude with loneliness or inadequacy, choosing to embrace time alone can feel like an act of courage. It challenges the cultural norms that encourage constant engagement and productivity. However, by making solitude a regular part of our lives, we reclaim our right to know ourselves deeply and make choices that align with our truth. In solitude, we find clarity about who we are, what we desire, and what we value. We gain a clearer understanding of our purpose and a renewed appreciation for the richness that self-discovery brings to our lives. Embracing solitude for clarity is not about withdrawal from the world, rather, it is about stepping back so that we can return to life with a more centered, authentic perspective. As we cultivate this practice, we become more attuned to our inner landscape, making it easier to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Solitude becomes a sacred space, a place of refuge and insight, where we can reconnect with our essence and emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with our true self. The shift to empowerment begins as a deeply personal journey, often sparked by an awakening to the realization that the source of one's strength and authority lies within. For many, empowerment is misunderstood as something external, a condition granted by others or achieved through control. However, true empowerment arises from within, a shift from self-doubt and dependence on external validation to a state of self-belief, independence, and unwavering confidence. It's about knowing that you are capable of creating your own path and having the courage to take responsibility for your own happiness, decisions, and actions. One of the first steps toward empowerment is shedding the victim mindset. While life's circumstances may bring challenges, hardships, and even unfair situations, it is easy to fall into the habit of blaming these external forces for where we are or how we feel. In this mindset, we perceive ourselves as powerless, relying on others or unfortunate events to improve our circumstances. Moving beyond this mindset involves reclaiming our agency by accepting that, while we may not control every circumstance, we do control our response. We decide how we interpret experiences, and we can choose to see obstacles as opportunities for growth. Empowerment, then, is an active process where we take ownership of our journey, refusing to relinquish our power to anyone or anything outside of ourselves. It is also about learning to trust ourselves. Many of us have been conditioned to seek approval and guidance from others, whether from family, friends, or society at large. While there can be value in external feedback, true empowerment requires us to tune into our inner voice and intuition, valuing it as the ultimate guide. Trusting ourselves means believing in our ability to make decisions, learn from mistakes, and find solutions. It is about silencing the voices of doubt and fear that try to convince us we are incapable or unworthy. This trust is built over time, through small acts of courage, through learning to listen to our needs and desires, and by taking the steps that honor our authentic self, regardless of others' opinions. Also requires resilience. Life will inevitably bring moments of failure, rejection, or loss, and empowerment does not shield us from experiencing these. However, a person who has embraced empowerment understands that setbacks are part of growth and does not allow temporary defeats to define them. Instead of succumbing to fear or discouragement, they choose to view each experience as a stepping stone. Resilience is the practice of rising each time we fall, of holding on to our goals and dreams even when challenges arise. Empowered people acknowledge pain, disappointment, and grief, but they also know that their strength lies in their ability to keep moving forward, grounded in their own inner power. At the heart of empowerment is self-respect. Self-respect means honoring our values, our time, and our boundaries. It is the understanding that we are worthy of kindness, dignity, and compassion, both from ourselves and others. Empowered individuals do not settle for less than what they deserve, nor do they compromise their values to please others. They understand that by respecting themselves, they teach others how to treat them. This respect acts as a protective barrier, helping them make decisions that align with their well-being and preventing them from sacrificing their needs or principles for external approval. Through self-respect, empowerment grows as we become our own advocates, ensuring that we prioritize what is truly best for us. Empowerment is not solely an internal journey, it also manifests in our interactions with the world. Empowered individuals are often driven to empower others. They know the strength that comes from self-belief, resilience, and authenticity, and they naturally encourage others to discover the same in themselves. Rather than competing or comparing, they seek to uplift, to inspire, and to share. They understand that true empowerment is not a finite resource, but one that grows when shared. By empowering others, we create a ripple effect, fostering a community where each individual is encouraged to embrace their own unique strengths and potentials. But a vital aspect of empowerment is setting and pursuing goals that align with our true desires and purpose. When we are empowered, our goals reflect not what others expect from us, but what we genuinely wish to achieve. We have the courage to set high standards for ourselves, to dream big, and to work toward those dreams with conviction. Empowerment helps us stay focused, resilient, and patient as we work toward our aspirations, understanding that setbacks are part of the process, but that our determination and commitment will guide us to success. By aligning our goals with our core values and desires, we move with a sense of purpose and fulfillment, knowing that we are on a path that honors who we truly are. The shift to empowerment is a lifelong journey, a process of continual growth and self-discovery. It requires patience, as old habits of self-doubt or fear don't vanish overnight. Yet each step toward empowerment brings greater confidence, peace, and fulfillment. When we choose empowerment, we choose to live life on our own terms, to embrace our uniqueness, and to honor our deepest truths. This shift transforms how we see ourselves, how we interact with others, and how we engage with the world. In embracing empowerment, we realize that the strength we seek has been within us all along. We no longer need to wait for permission, validation, or approval to pursue our dreams or stand in our truth. Empowerment frees us from the constraints of self-doubt and external influence, allowing us to live boldly, authentically, and with purpose. As we continue to walk this path, we build a life rooted in self-belief, resilience, and the unwavering conviction that we are the architects of our own experience. Empowerment is the gift we give ourselves, and it opens the door to a life filled with meaning, freedom, and true fulfillment. Imagine that each word you utter is a brushstroke, painting the canvas of your life. For the next 30 days, I invite you to paint this canvas with intention, with purpose, and with unwavering belief. The words you choose hold a remarkable power. They are the whispers of your soul, calling forth a new reality. Belief is a force unlike any other, a quiet but unstoppable power that transforms dreams into reality. In the heart of each desire lies a spark, a seed that has yet to grow. And this seed, this yearning, can only blossom when nurtured by unwavering belief. Without belief, a dream remains a mere thought, a fragment of imagination without substance. But when belief enters, it ignites possibility, taking root in the soil of the mind and stretching toward the light of realization. Belief transforms the intangible into the tangible, making what was once seen as impossible come to life. It is the very foundation of all personal change. Consider this: every great achievement, every bold idea that has shaped the world, began as a thought, a vision held firmly by someone who believed, despite the obstacles and doubts, that it could come to pass. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a certainty that becomes self-fulfilling. When you believe deeply enough in something, you begin to act as if it's true. This isn't about pretending or wishful fantasy, it's about embodying your desire with a confidence that reshapes your reality. Belief creates a pathway in the mind, a conviction that makes the journey seem inevitable. You're no longer just hoping for something to happen, you're walking a path, step by step, that you know leads to fulfillment. The magic of belief is that it doesn't rely on visible proof or physical evidence to take root. True belief is a certainty that comes from within, an unwavering knowing that what you desire already exists in some form, waiting to be revealed. Belief, when held strongly, does not waver in the face of uncertainty or challenge. On the contrary, it grows even stronger. Imagine a seed pushing up through the soil. It encounters resistance, but it doesn't stop. It keeps moving upward toward the light, breaking through barriers, because it knows that its purpose is to grow. Belief works in the same way. It pushes you forward, even when circumstances seem to stand in your way. It's an anchor in the unseen realm, holding fast to your vision until it manifests in the physical world. Belief creates alignment. When you believe deeply in something, you naturally align your thoughts, actions, and words with that belief. You begin to make choices that support and bring you closer to your vision. This alignment brings a kind of flow to your life, as though everything you do has purpose and meaning. The more you believe, the clearer this path becomes. Obstacles may arise, but rather than being dissuaded, you see them as part of the journey. You find ways around, over or through them, because you know that nothing can stand in the way of your belief. This inner knowing generates a powerful energy that becomes magnetized to opportunities and resources that support your goal. In the process of believing, you may also find that you become someone new. The person who starts with a desire and the person who achieves it are not the same, for belief transforms the individual as much as it does their outer reality. As you hold steadfast to your vision, you grow into the version of yourself that is capable of realizing it. The process demands strength, patience, and resilience. It molds you, strengthens your will, and deepens your sense of purpose. This transformation isn't just about reaching a goal, it's about becoming someone who knows their own power to create. Belief teaches you that you are the architect of your life, capable of shaping your reality through the clarity and strength of your convictions. Belief also transcends the limits of the mind and reaches into the unseen forces of life. When you believe wholeheartedly, you are aligning not only your thoughts and actions, but also connecting with the unseen realm where your dreams reside. There is a shift in energy, a resonance that echoes out and brings circumstances, people, and experiences into alignment with your desire. Belief sends a signal out into the world, a frequency that attracts that which matches its vibration. When you fully commit to this frequency, you find that life begins to arrange itself to bring your vision to fruition. In this way, belief acts as a bridge between the invisible and the visible, the imagined and the real. There will always be moments of doubt, for that is the nature of the human mind. But even as doubt arises, belief can hold steady. True belief acknowledges the presence of doubt, but chooses not to be swayed by it. Doubt may whisper, but belief stands firm, rooted in a conviction that does not depend on the absence of uncertainty. This is where the true power of belief lies, in its resilience, its refusal to be shaken by fleeting thoughts or temporary setbacks. Just as a tree holds firm in a storm, belief holds steady through the shifting winds of doubt. It remains rooted, drawing strength from within, always reaching upward toward the realization of the vision. In nurturing belief, you give your dreams the foundation they need to grow. It requires commitment, an ongoing choice to trust in what you know to be true, even if it has yet to materialize. This trust is not naive, it is born from an understanding that the power of belief is the greatest force we possess. It is the engine that drives creativity, the fuel that powers innovation, and the force that brings dreams to life. Belief is not passive, it is an active force that transforms. It shapes, guides, and molds, making the impossible possible. So nurture your belief. Hold it close, strengthen it daily, and let it become the soil in which your dreams take root. Let it be the light that guides you forward, the certainty that keeps you grounded, and the force that propels you toward the life you envision. In belief lies the power to transform, to transcend, and to create a life that reflects the highest vision of who you are meant to be. Words hold a remarkable power, a creative force that shapes our reality in ways we often underestimate. They are more than mere sounds or symbols, they are containers of meaning, carrying energy and intent into the world. Every word we speak influences our perception, attitudes, and interactions with the world around us. Each phrase is like a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives, shaping how we see ourselves, others, and what is possible. By choosing our words with awareness, we exercise the profound ability to design our lives, drawing in experiences, opportunities, and outcomes that mirror our innermost beliefs and intentions. When we speak, we declare a version of reality to ourselves and to the world. Think about how powerful words of encouragement, gratitude, or affirmation feel. When spoken with sincerity, they lift the spirit, open the heart, and cultivate a positive outlook. Conversely, words of complaint, criticism, or doubt can drain energy, reinforce limitation, and create a closed-off perspective. It is as though every word carries with it the power to build or to dismantle, to illuminate or to obscure. The world we live in is a reflection of the language we use, whether we realize it or not. Through words, we are constantly engaging in a dialogue with reality, shaping our responses, and subtly influencing the responses of others. Words are also deeply linked to our beliefs. When we speak, we are often verbalizing thoughts that we hold as true, even if we have never stopped to question them. For instance, if we frequently say, "I am always unlucky," or "I can never catch a break," we reinforce an internal story of limitation, one where good fortune seems distant or unattainable. Repeating these phrases creates a mental script, a blueprint for how we see ourselves. Over time, this repeated narrative molds our perception, encouraging us to notice setbacks more keenly and dismiss moments of good fortune as exceptions rather than norms. This creates a self-fulfilling cycle, where our words reflect our beliefs and, in turn, reinforce those beliefs, embedding them deeper into our minds. On the other hand, when we deliberately choose words that align with the vision we hold for our lives, we initiate a transformative process. By saying, "I am capable, I am deserving of good things," or "I attract opportunities," we break free from limiting narratives and open the door to a new reality. These words don't magically change circumstances overnight, but they shift our perspective. When we tell ourselves we are capable, we start to feel that way, which impacts our actions and decisions. We begin to notice opportunities we may have previously ignored, and we take actions aligned with self-confidence. This shift creates a ripple effect, altering our world little by little as our words guide us toward new possibilities. The power of words is not just in what we say about ourselves, but also in how we speak about others and the world around us. When we engage in gossip, criticism, or judgment, we train our minds to focus on faults and shortcomings. This habit not only harms our relationships but also limits our worldview, narrowing our focus to what is wrong or lacking. However, when we choose words of kindness, understanding, and encouragement, we open ourselves up to a more compassionate and inclusive perspective. We become more attuned to the positive aspects of others, which enhances our relationships and brings more harmony into our lives. Speaking positively about others is a way of affirming the goodness in the world, making it more likely that we experience and contribute to that goodness ourselves. Our words are also powerful tools for manifesting our desires. When we speak as though our dreams are already realized, we create a mental and emotional state that is aligned with that future reality. By saying, "I am successful, I am in a loving relationship," or "I am financially secure," we aren't deceiving ourselves, we are aligning with the energy of that desired state. This practice, often referred to as affirmation, activates the mind's reticular activating system, which helps us notice opportunities and resources that support our goals. By consciously choosing words that reflect our aspirations, we strengthen the belief that these outcomes are possible, which propels us to act in ways that bring them to fruition. The impact of words extends beyond the spoken realm. Even the thoughts we silently repeat shape our inner landscape. Self-talk, the constant stream of words running through our minds, sets the tone for our emotions and reactions. When we replace negative self-talk with affirming and encouraging words, we cultivate resilience and optimism. The mind begins to respond to this new narrative, shifting away from fear and doubt and toward hope and confidence. In this way, every thought becomes an opportunity to reshape our world, a chance to transform a moment of doubt into one of assurance. Language is a bridge between our inner world and the external reality we experience. When we choose words that align with love, gratitude, strength, and potential, we build a bridge to a life that reflects those qualities. By speaking with awareness and intention, we become creators in our lives rather than passive observers. Each word we speak or think is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of consciousness, growing into beliefs, actions, and ultimately experiences. Over time, these words shape not just our perception, but the very fabric of our lives. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, our words offer us a source of control, a way to steer our lives toward a vision we cherish. Through conscious speech, we become architects of our reality, empowered to build a world that aligns with our highest aspirations. The process begins with awareness, with noticing the words we use and the stories they tell. As we refine our language, we cultivate a reality that reflects the beauty, strength, and wisdom we hold within. Let us embrace this power of words, recognizing their role in shaping the world we live in. Let us speak with intention, with kindness, and with vision, allowing each word to be a step toward the life we desire. Our words are more than tools, they are acts of creation. When we choose them wisely, we create a world that mirrors the greatest possibilities within us. Consistency is the quiet engine behind every success story, the steady pulse that transforms dreams into reality. While passion and vision are crucial, they are nothing without the commitment to show up day after day. Consistency is the bridge between the initial spark of inspiration and the tangible result, transforming effort into achievement and turning small steps into monumental progress. It's easy to start something, but to sustain it, especially when motivation wanes, requires a deep understanding of the power of momentum. Every time we act in alignment with our goals, we add energy to the movement toward them. In this way, consistency becomes the generator of momentum, gradually but powerfully pushing us toward the outcomes we desire. Momentum builds slowly at first, much like a snowball gathering speed as it rolls downhill. At the start, the progress may feel minimal, and the results may be barely noticeable. This is where many people lose heart. They expect immediate changes, and when they don't see them, they assume the effort is wasted. But consistency is about trusting in the unseen progress, knowing that each small step, each repeated action, compounds over time. Imagine the effect of practicing an instrument or learning a language. In the beginning, the progress is nearly invisible, but with continued practice, a tipping point is reached where the skill becomes natural and fluent. This same principle applies to all areas of life. Each small effort adds up, building momentum that eventually yields visible results. Consistency, however, is not just about external results. It also shapes our internal state, transforming how we perceive ourselves and our abilities. When we show up consistently, we are reinforcing a narrative of resilience and discipline. This repeated commitment builds self-trust. We come to see ourselves as people who follow through, as individuals capable of perseverance and determination. This internal shift is invaluable as it strengthens our sense of identity and confidence. When challenges arise, a person who has practiced consistency knows they can handle them because they have proven their dedication to themselves over and over again. They are equipped to face setbacks because they trust their ability to keep going, no matter how difficult the path becomes. Momentum isn't just about physical progress, it's a mental and emotional force as well. When we establish a pattern of consistent effort, it creates a sense of flow. Tasks that once seemed daunting begin to feel natural, even automatic. What was once a struggle becomes a habit, and this is the magic of consistency. By doing something regularly, we gradually decrease the effort required to complete it. The task integrates into our lives, no longer feeling like a burden, but rather a natural part of our routine. This frees up mental and emotional energy for even greater achievements, as we no longer need to wrestle with ourselves to get started. We can simply flow into the task, riding the wave of momentum we have created. In the pursuit of long-term goals, there will inevitably be times when motivation is absent. This is where the true strength of consistency is revealed, for consistency is not dependent on how we feel in any given moment. It is the commitment to a goal that goes beyond temporary feelings of excitement or inspiration. By creating a routine, we establish a structure that carries us even when enthusiasm fades. This reliability is the key to achieving meaningful results because it allows us to continue moving forward regardless of fluctuations in our mood or energy. When we learn to rely on consistency, we free ourselves from the need to feel constantly motivated, knowing that our habits will sustain us through highs and lows alike. Over time, consistency generates a compounding effect that accelerates progress. Imagine someone who exercises for 15 minutes a day. In one day, this may seem insignificant, but over a year, these minutes add up to over 90 hours of movement. Each session builds on the one before it, gradually increasing fitness, strength, and well-being. This principle applies to all endeavors, whether it's saving money, learning a skill, or improving relationships. Small, steady actions, when compounded over time, produce exponential results. The beauty of this process is that the effort required doesn't increase, but the rewards do, thanks to the power of compounding. Consistency is the foundation that allows us to harness this power, turning modest actions into remarkable outcomes. Building momentum through consistency also builds resilience. Each time we follow through, especially on days when it feels difficult, we are training ourselves to overcome resistance. We become adept at moving past excuses, at silencing the voice that says maybe tomorrow. This resilience is essential, for there will always be obstacles on the path to any worthwhile goal. By practicing consistency, we learn to see these obstacles as temporary rather than insurmountable. We build the mental strength to push through discomfort, knowing that each step we take is adding to the momentum we have built. This resilience ensures that we don't lose progress every time we face a setback. Instead, we become adept at moving forward, no matter the circumstances. The effects of consistency and momentum often extend beyond our original goal, spilling over into other areas of our lives. When we experience the power of consistent effort in one area, we become more inclined to apply it elsewhere. A person who practices consistency in their career, for example, may find themselves naturally becoming more disciplined in personal development, health, or relationships. The lessons learned through consistency become ingrained, creating a positive cycle of growth and improvement that permeates every aspect of life. Consistency is a form of self-respect. It is a commitment to one's own growth and vision, a declaration that our dreams are worth the effort. By showing up every day, even in small ways, we honor our goals and respect our potential. This self-respect, fueled by consistency, transforms how we view ourselves and what we believe we are capable of achieving. It reinforces that we are worthy of the effort, that our goals are valuable, and that we have the power to make them a reality. Momentum, once created, becomes a powerful ally, a force that carries us toward our aspirations with increasing ease and speed. So let us embrace the quiet strength of consistency, trusting that each small step brings us closer to where we wish to be. Let us honor our commitments, knowing that the momentum we build today will pave the way for the success of tomorrow. In consistency lies the secret to sustainable progress, a path that turns dreams into accomplishments, step by steady step. The words we choose carry an immense power to influence the course of our lives. They are more than just sounds or symbols, they are the outward expression of our inner beliefs and desires. When we align our words with our deepest wishes and aspirations, we set in motion a creative process that shapes our reality. To speak with intention is to acknowledge the connection between thought, speech, and outcome, a connection that allows us to actively participate in the unfolding of our lives. By consciously choosing language that reflects what we truly want, we begin to see doors open, paths clear, and possibilities emerge in ways we might never have imagined. When we think about aligning words with desires, we often imagine affirmations or mantra statements of intention spoken aloud to reinforce a vision. While these are certainly valuable tools, aligning our words with our desires goes deeper than mere repetition. It's about establishing congruence between our spoken words, our internal beliefs, and the energy with which we approach life. Imagine a person who says, "I want to be successful," but habitually speaks about their limitations, doubts, or past failures. This internal contradiction prevents true alignment, as their words are disconnected from the confidence and belief necessary to bring that desire to fruition. For words to be effective in shaping our reality, they must be infused with genuine belief, the kind that resonates not only outwardly but also within. Aligning words with desires requires us to recognize and dismantle limiting narratives we may have unconsciously adopted. Over time, we all develop habitual patterns of speech that reflect our experiences, fears, and perceived limitations. Phrases like "I'm just not lucky" or "things never go my way" reinforce a belief in scarcity or defeat. When repeated often, these phrases become self-fulfilling prophecies, casting a shadow over our potential and narrowing the range of opportunities we're willing to see. In aligning words with our desires, we begin by challenging these patterns, replacing words of doubt with words that affirm our aspirations. This may involve shifting from statements like "I hope it works out" to "I trust it will work out." Such changes, though subtle, create a profound shift in energy, moving us from a mindset of lack or uncertainty to one of confidence and expectation. The words we choose also shape our self-image, influencing not only how we see ourselves but how others see us. When we speak positively about ourselves and our goals, we project confidence and attract support from those around us. People are drawn to those who believe in their purpose and speak with conviction. Imagine someone who says, "I am capable of great things," versus someone who constantly undermines their own abilities with self-doubt. The former attracts encouragement and inspiration, while the latter may inadvertently invite skepticism or pity. By speaking in ways that honor our dreams, we affirm our worthiness and reinforce our right to pursue what we desire. Aligning our words with our desires doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that life is perfect. It means consciously choosing language that supports the vision we hold for ourselves, even in the face of challenges. For instance, instead of saying, "I'll never be able to get through this," we might say, "This is challenging, but I am resilient." Such language acknowledges the difficulty while reaffirming our strength. This subtle shift enables us to approach obstacles with a sense of empowerment rather than defeat. In this way, we are not denying reality, rather, we are choosing to respond to it in a way that aligns with the outcome we want to create. A powerful aspect of aligning our words with our desires is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is an acknowledgement of abundance, a statement that we recognize and appreciate the good in our lives. When we express gratitude for what we desire as though it has already arrived, we create a mental and emotional state that aligns with that outcome, For example, if we seek financial abundance, we might begin by saying, "I am grateful for the wealth flowing into my life." This statement sets the tone of abundance, fostering a mindset that attracts opportunities and opens us to prosperity. Gratitude aligns us with our desires by creating a feeling of receptivity and readiness, a powerful attractor for the very things we seek. Furthermore, aligning words with desires involves consistency and repetition. Just as a single drop of water does not form a river, a single word alone may not create change. By consistently speaking in alignment with our desires, we reinforce and solidify the new narrative. Over time, these words become embedded in our psyche, creating a new mental framework that supports our goals. For instance, saying "I am successful" once might not change our self-image, but repeating it daily with belief and intention gradually writes our internal dialogue, fostering a self-assuredness that radiates into our actions and decisions. This practice of alignment extends beyond spoken words to encompass our thoughts and internal dialogue. Often we speak positively in public while harboring doubts privately. To truly align with our desires, we must bring our internal thoughts into harmony with our spoken words. This means gently redirecting negative self-talk, reminding ourselves of our worthiness, and choosing thoughts that affirm our goals. When our inner and outer dialogue resonate with our desires, we create a powerful field of intention that accelerates our journey toward them. Aligning our words with our desires also encourages us to visualize and embody the feeling of fulfillment. It's not enough to say, "I am successful." We must imagine what success feels like, let it seep into our hearts, and speak from that place of fulfillment. When we do this, our words carry a different energy, an energy that draws people, ideas, and circumstances that resonate with that vibration. This practice of speaking from the feeling is one of the most potent ways to manifest, as it transcends mere wishful thinking and roots our desires in the present moment, as if they are already here. When we align our words with our desires, we step into a position of co-creation with life. We move from passive wishfulness to active participation in our destiny, claiming our right to shape our lives through the power of language. This alignment is a declaration to the universe, a statement that we are ready and willing to receive what we seek. Through conscious speech, we call forth a reality that mirrors our highest aspirations, a world crafted not by chance, but by the intentional, purposeful power of our words. In this way, our words become the architects of our lives, each one carefully chosen to support, uplift, and manifest the life we desire. To feel as if something is already true is to embody a powerful shift in consciousness. This shift doesn't merely involve thinking positively or engaging in wishful fantasies. Rather, it is a profound psychological state where we accept our desires as present realities. By living in the feeling of our wishes fulfilled, we invite those desires to manifest in the world around us. This approach requires a shift from hoping and wanting to believing and feeling as if we already have what we desire. In doing so, we align our inner state with the outcomes we seek, allowing our lives to transform from within. Imagine the difference between longing for something and feeling as though it's already yours. Longing implies a state of lack, of distance between where you are and what you want. It often reinforces a feeling of separation from the goal, emphasizing that it is something you have yet to attain. By contrast, feeling as if it is already true removes that sense of separation and brings the desire into your present experience. It creates a vibration of fulfillment that attracts the very circumstances needed to make that feeling a tangible reality. When we adopt this mindset, we step into the role of the creator rather than the seeker. By imagining our desires as fulfilled, we effectively try on the emotions associated with their realization. Whether it's happiness, peace, confidence, or joy, these emotions become present rather than distant. For example, if someone desires greater financial abundance, they might feel relief, freedom, and a sense of security. By practicing feeling these emotions now, they move into alignment with the state of wealth, creating a fertile inner environment that supports their financial goals. At first, it may seem challenging to adopt this approach, as the physical world might offer evidence that appears to contradict our inner vision. We may see bills, face struggles, or encounter obstacles that make our desires feel far away. Yet this is precisely the moment when feeling as if it is already true is most potent. The process involves turning away from external conditions and focusing on the internal feeling state. Our feelings, after all, are not bound by the physical world, they are entirely within our control. By exercising this control, we transcend current limitations and align with the frequency of our desires, transforming our relationship with reality. Feeling as if it is already true is not a denial of our present circumstances, nor does it require us to pretend that challenges do not exist. Instead, it is a practice of seeing beyond those challenges, focusing on a higher truth, the reality we want to create. It involves a deep trust in the unseen, a willingness to believe in what is possible, even if it is not yet visible. When we do this, we begin to access a creative power within ourselves that is capable of reshaping our world. We move from reacting to the outer world to proactively generating a new experience from within. This process of embodying the feeling of our desires can be likened to tuning a radio. Just as a radio must be set to the right frequency to pick up a desired station, we must align our emotions with the frequency of what we want to experience. If we desire love, we tune our feelings to the state of being loved and loving. If we desire success, we cultivate a feeling of accomplishment. The universe, much like the radio waves, responds to the energy we emit. By feeling as though our desires are already real, we send out a signal that attracts similar energy, drawing the corresponding experiences to us. A significant part of this practice involves letting go of doubt and impatience. It is natural to feel uncertain when we cannot yet see the physical manifestation of our desires, but holding on to these feelings only perpetuates the sense of lack. When we allow ourselves to doubt, we essentially send mixed signals to the universe, which can delay or disrupt the manifestation process. Instead, we must choose to let go of the need for immediate results, focusing solely on cultivating the feeling of fulfillment. This inner shift in focus transforms us from a state of waiting to a state of receiving. Maintaining this feeling consistently may require practice, as old habits of doubt, fear, or disbelief can easily resurface. Visualization and affirmations can be helpful tools for sustaining the feeling of a fulfilled desire. By vividly imagining our desires as already real, we immerse ourselves in the sights, sounds, and sensations of that reality. Affirmations, when repeated with conviction, reinforce our belief in the reality of our desires, guiding our thoughts and emotions toward alignment. These practices keep us anchored in the feeling state, especially during moments of doubt, helping us to embody the energy of fulfillment. One of the most powerful aspects of feeling, as if it is already true, is the sense of gratitude it creates. Gratitude is not only a response to receiving, but also an acknowledgement that we are open and willing to receive. When we are grateful for our desires as if they have already arrived, we expand our capacity to attract those experiences. Gratitude shifts our perspective from lack to abundance, focusing our attention on the good that is already unfolding in our lives. By expressing thanks for our desires as present realities, we strengthen the belief that we are worthy and capable of receiving them, which accelerates the process of manifestation. The beauty of feeling as if it is already true is that it transforms us from within, regardless of what happens externally. As we practice this inner shift, we may find that the journey itself becomes a source of joy and satisfaction, independent of any external outcome. This sense of inner peace and fulfillment ultimately frees us from the need to control or force specific results. Instead, we become receptive to all the ways our desires might unfold, often discovering that life has far greater gifts in store for us than we initially imagined. To feel as if it is already true is to live in alignment with our deepest aspirations. It is a declaration of faith in our power to create, a statement of trust in the unfolding of our lives. By choosing to dwell in the feelings of fulfillment, we become co-creators of our reality, sculpting our experiences from the inside out. This practice invites us to participate actively in the life we desire, teaching us that what we wish for is not far away, but already here, waiting for us to embody it fully. Through this alignment of feeling, we awaken to the realization that we are not separate from our desires, they are already a part of us, waiting to be expressed in the world. The power of now lies in its ability to bring us fully into the present moment, where life truly unfolds. While the mind often drifts into past regrets or future anxieties, true peace, joy, and clarity are only ever found in the here and now. Embracing the power of now is a call to step out of the noise of our thoughts, releasing worries of what has been and concerns over what may come. In this present moment, we can find freedom from the burdens of time, experiencing life with a profound sense of peace, acceptance, and clarity. Being fully present means letting go of the incessant mental chatter that often distracts us from experiencing the world as it is. The mind, like a pendulum, frequently swings between memories of the past and anticipations of the future, robbing us of the richness that exists only in the present. While memories have their value and planning for the future is necessary, constantly dwelling on what was or what might be keeps us disconnected from the experiences, sensations, and opportunities available to us right now. By focusing on the present, we bring our attention to what is directly in front of us, the sights, sounds, people, and experiences that make up this very moment, connecting us to life in a more vivid and meaningful way. When we embrace the present moment, we also begin to release the grip of judgment. Judgments are often projections from our past, conditioned responses that influence how we perceive our current experiences. However, if we approach the now with a sense of curiosity and openness, we allow ourselves to see things as they truly are, rather than through the lens of past experiences or expectations. This is the beauty of the present. It offers us a fresh perspective, an opportunity to see beyond the habitual judgments that color our lives. When we engage fully with the present, we view situations, people, and even ourselves with a new sense of awareness, creating space for growth and transformation. The power of now is deeply transformative because it allows us to accept reality as it is. Often, our suffering comes from resisting what is, wishing things were different, or struggling to change what is beyond our control. When we accept the present moment without resistance, we create a sense of inner harmony and reduce the friction between our desires and reality. Acceptance does not mean passivity or resignation, rather. It is a powerful act of surrendering to what we cannot change while reserving our energy for what we can influence. This practice fosters resilience and flexibility, enabling us to adapt gracefully to life's challenges and changes. By embracing the power of now, we also tap into a profound sense of gratitude. When we focus on the present, we become more aware of the simple pleasures and blessings around us, such as a beautiful sunset, a warm conversation, or the peaceful silence in the early morning. Gratitude naturally arises when we immerse ourselves in the richness of the present moment. Rather than constantly seeking fulfillment outside ourselves or in future achievements, we begin to appreciate the gifts that are already available. This shift toward gratitude enhances our sense of well-being as we start to realize that life itself is a series of precious moments to be cherished. Living in the present also opens up space for authentic connections with others. When we are fully present with someone, we listen more deeply, without the interference of our thoughts or judgments. Our relationships become richer and more meaningful because we are no longer distracted by concerns about how we are perceived or by the mental to-do lists that often pull us away from genuine connection. Instead, we are able to engage with others from a place of true presence and attention, which not only strengthens our bonds, but also brings us a sense of fulfillment and belonging. Embracing the power of now also empowers us to pursue our goals and dreams with focus and purpose. When we are present, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by the enormity of our ambitions or the long journey ahead. Instead, we can concentrate on the single step we can take today, trusting that consistent action in the present will guide us toward our destination. This approach cultivates a sense of flow, where we become deeply engaged in the task at hand, losing track of time and enjoying the process itself. The journey toward our goals becomes as rewarding as the outcome, because we are fully immersed in each step, embracing the present as we move forward. Practicing presence is a skill that requires patience and dedication. It may feel challenging at first, especially in a world that encourages constant productivity, distraction, and multitasking. However, by developing mindfulness practices such as meditation, conscious breathing, or simply pausing throughout the day, we can gradually train ourselves to return to the now. Over time, these practices help us cultivate an awareness that remains with us, even amid the demands of daily life. With practice, we learn to experience the present moment, not as a fleeting instant, but as a state of being that anchors us to the fullness of life. The power of now is the power to be free from the constraints of time, from the demands of our thoughts, and from the endless cycle of wanting more. It is the freedom to experience life directly, to meet each moment with openness, acceptance, and love. By embracing the now, we awaken to the beauty and mystery of life as it unfolds, realizing that everything we seek already exists in the present. In this space of awareness, we find that peace, joy, and fulfillment are not distant ideals, but qualities that are always within reach, waiting to be experienced in the here and now. Doubt is a subtle force that can erode dreams and weaken convictions, often preventing us from achieving what we most desire. To guard against doubt is to take active steps in protecting the faith we have in ourselves, our goals, and the possibilities that life holds for us. Doubt can be paralyzing. It keeps us stuck in cycles of hesitation and insecurity, clouding our vision and undermining our self-belief. Guarding against doubt involves recognizing when it arises, understanding its origins, and choosing to affirm confidence over fear. Doubt often originates from our past experiences, especially from failures or disappointments. When we try something and fail, or encounter repeated challenges, our minds may start to internalize these experiences as evidence that we are incapable or unworthy. This is how doubt takes root. It remembers every instance of difficulty and uses it to convince us that success or change is impossible. Yet, past setbacks do not define our potential. Every experience we go through is a lesson, a stepping stone for growth and learning. When we consciously choose to see past experiences as learning tools rather than final judgments of our abilities, we weaken doubt's influence over us. Another common source of doubt is comparison. It is easy to feel uncertain about our own path when we measure ourselves against others' achievements, possessions, or status. But each individual's journey is unique, shaped by different circumstances, talents, and life lessons. Comparison not only fuels doubt, but also distracts us from focusing on our own path. When we focus on others, we lose sight of what truly matters to us. By recognizing the futility of comparison and choosing instead to honor our unique journey, we safeguard ourselves from the doubt that arises from feeling less than. Guarding against doubt also requires a conscious awareness of our inner dialogue. Often we are our own harshest critics, allowing negative self-talk to run unchecked. Statements like "I'm not good enough," "I always mess things up," or "I'll never succeed" feed doubt and reinforce limiting beliefs. The words we speak to ourselves matter. They create the mental framework through which we see ourselves and the world. To counteract this, we must develop a habit of positive self-talk, affirming our strengths, our worth, and our capability to grow. Every time we challenge a doubtful thought with a positive, empowering statement, we reclaim a piece of our confidence and weaken doubt's hold on us. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences can also help protect us from doubt. The company we keep significantly impacts our mindset. Spending time around people who believe in us, who encourage us, and who embody a positive outlook on life can uplift our spirits and reinforce our confidence. When we're supported by those who see our potential and remind us of our strengths, doubt begins to lose its power. On the other hand, negative or critical people can amplify our doubts, casting shadows over our goals and dreams. It's essential to be discerning about the energy we allow into our lives, choosing to cultivate relationships that nurture our growth rather than diminish it. It too plays an essential role in guarding against doubt. Faith does not have to be rooted in religion. It can simply be the belief in something greater than ourselves, a trust in life's unfolding, in our ability to overcome challenges, or in the unseen forces that support our journey. Faith serves as an anchor when doubt tries to sway us, providing us with a sense of inner certainty even when outer circumstances are unclear. Cultivating faith involves regularly reminding ourselves of our purpose, our values, and the reasons why we started on this path. When we strengthen our faith, we give ourselves a solid foundation from which to counteract doubt and persevere through challenges. Action is another powerful antidote to doubt. When we take even the smallest step toward our goals, we gain momentum and affirm our capability. Doubt thrives in inaction. It grows stronger when we are passive or when we hesitate. However, when we act, we send a signal to ourselves that we are moving forward, regardless of how we feel. Each action builds confidence, reinforces our belief in our ability, and diminishes doubt. By consistently choosing action over hesitation, we gradually dismantle doubt's influence and replace it with a habit of forward movement. Visualization and affirmation practices can also be instrumental in guarding against doubt. By regularly visualizing ourselves succeeding, achieving, or living out our dreams, we create a mental blueprint that aligns with confidence and belief. Affirmations, when spoken with conviction, have a similar effect, programming the mind to focus on positive outcomes rather than potential failures. These practices act as reminders of our potential and help us stay focused on our vision, reducing the space for doubt to take hold. Over time, these practices strengthen our sense of self-belief and diminish the influence of doubt. It's essential to recognize that doubt is a natural part of the human experience. Everyone, no matter how successful or confident they may appear, faces doubt at times. When we accept that doubt is a common feeling rather than a personal failing, we become more compassionate toward ourselves. We can learn to see doubt as a passing emotion rather than an absolute truth. Acknowledging doubt without attaching to it allows us to observe it objectively and release it more easily. By treating doubt as a temporary visitor, we avoid letting it shape our decisions or hold us back from pursuing what matters most. Guarding against doubt is about committing to our dreams with unwavering resolve. It's about choosing to believe in ourselves even when evidence is lacking or when challenges arise. Doubt will always attempt to sway us, to lure us away from our path, but we have the power to stand firm. By nurturing faith, surrounding ourselves with positivity, taking consistent action, and practicing self-compassion, we can protect ourselves from the limiting force of doubt and move forward with confidence. In this state of unwavering belief, we not only achieve our goals but also strengthen our inner resilience and self-worth. We come to realize that we are capable of much more than we once imagined, that doubt was merely an obstacle in our minds, and that by standing guard against it, we unlock our full potential. Trusting the process and releasing attachment to the outcome is a mindset rooted in patience, resilience, and surrender. It requires us to let go of the obsessive need to control how life unfolds, learning instead to place faith in the journey and trust that things will fall into place in their own time. When we trust the process, we acknowledge that while we can take action, plan, and work toward our goals, there are aspects of life beyond our control. This trust frees us from the anxieties that arise from fixating on results and allows us to experience a sense of peace and confidence along the way. A key aspect of trusting the process is the acceptance of uncertainty. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable. No matter how carefully we plan or how hard we work, we cannot foresee every twist and turn that our journey may take. Embracing this truth frees us from the burden of overthinking, allowing us to move forward without the constant need for reassurance or control. Instead of worrying about every possible outcome, we can focus our energy on what we can control: our effort, attitude, and perspective. When we accept that some things are unknown and that uncertainty is a natural part of growth, we become more resilient in the face of challenges, setbacks, and surprises. Trusting the process also encourages us to stay present. When we're too focused on the future or obsessed with the outcome, we often lose sight of the present moment, where life is actually happening. Each day brings us unique lessons and experiences that shape us, but when we rush through them, driven by impatience or a desire to achieve, we miss the richness of the journey. By staying present, and engaged with each step, we not only deepen our learning and personal growth, but also build a stronger foundation for reaching our goals. Every moment is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become more aligned with our true self. In releasing attachment to the outcome, we begin to recognize that success is not solely defined by reaching a specific goal. Often we are so focused on an idealized outcome that we overlook the subtle, unexpected rewards that come from the journey itself. When we loosen our grip on rigid expectations, we allow life to surprise us with new opportunities, ideas, and connections we may not have considered. Outcomes are rarely exactly as we envision, and sometimes they're even better than we anticipated. When we let go of expecting everything to unfold exactly as planned, we open ourselves to possibilities that could lead us to something even more meaningful than our original goal. The practice of releasing the outcome also helps us manage disappointment. When we become overly attached to specific results, we set ourselves up for frustration if things don't go as expected. Disappointment often arises from a sense of failed expectations rather than a true loss. By trusting that every experience has value, even if it doesn't look like we thought it would, we develop the capacity to view setbacks as redirection rather than failure. We learn to ask, "What can this teach me?" rather than feeling defeated, understanding that each experience, positive or negative, contributes to our growth and progress. This shift in mindset not only minimizes the pain of disappointment, but also builds resilience. Another benefit of releasing attachment to outcomes is that it liberates us from the constant fear of failure. Fear of failure can be paralyzing, causing us to hesitate, procrastinate, or avoid taking risks altogether. However, when we focus on the process rather than the result, we are free to experiment, to take bold actions, and to learn from our mistakes. We recognize that each step forward, regardless of its immediate success, brings us closer to understanding, growth, and eventual success. In this way, we foster a growth mindset, seeing every experience as a chance to improve, adapt, and become more capable. Letting go of the need to control the outcome also allows us to cultivate a sense of inner peace. When we are fixated on a particular result, our peace of mind becomes conditional. We can only feel calm if things go according to plan. But life rarely adheres to our expectations. By trusting the process, we cultivate a peace that is independent of circumstances, rooted instead in the confidence that we are moving in the right direction, no matter the temporary setbacks. This sense of peace is invaluable because it enables us to move through life with grace, even when the journey is challenging or uncertain. Trusting the process deepens our relationship with ourselves. When we stop relying on external achievements to validate our worth, we begin to see our value as inherent, independent of what we accomplish or fail to accomplish. We come to understand that our worth is not determined by outcomes, titles, or accolades, but by who we are and how we show up each day. This realization fosters self-compassion as we become less critical of ourselves and more patient with our growth. We learn to be our own source of encouragement, cheering ourselves on with kindness and recognizing that our efforts are valuable regardless of immediate results. In trusting the process, we also cultivate gratitude. Gratitude helps us appreciate what we have rather than obsessing over what we lack. When we focus on the present, celebrating each step as it unfolds, we create a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. This shift in perspective enables us to see each day as a gift, filled with opportunities for joy and growth. Gratitude brings a sense of fulfillment that is not reliant on reaching a specific goal, making the journey itself as rewarding as the destination. By appreciating each moment, we fill our lives with a deep sense of satisfaction and joy, independent of external achievements. Trusting the process and releasing the outcome is about embracing life in its fullness. It's about finding the balance between setting intentions and allowing room for spontaneity, between taking action and letting go. We become more adaptable, resilient, and courageous. We learn to trust that, with time, everything will unfold as it's meant to, and that even if the journey takes us in unexpected directions, it is still leading us to where we're meant to be. In this way, we transform our relationship with life itself. Rather than viewing it as a series of goals to achieve, we see it as a journey of growth, discovery, and connection. By releasing the need to control every outcome, we allow ourselves to experience the beauty, wonder, and depth of life, living each moment with openness and trust. And in doing so, we find that the journey becomes infinitely more meaningful, bringing us a fulfillment that no single achievement could ever provide. There is a reason you are here, listening to this message right now. You may not fully grasp it, but a divine purpose has brought you here. If you felt drawn to this message, if your spirit stirred even slightly, know this: there are no coincidences. Every detail of this life, every encounter, every message is woven with meaning. There is an exquisite tapestry of life at work around you, a universe intricately woven, not by chance, but by intention, thought, and purpose. Everything that appears in your experience, every person you meet, every situation you encounter, and even every fleeting thought that crosses your mind is part of a grand, interwoven design. The events you see as random or coincidental are, in fact, carefully orchestrated, subtly influenced by forces that respond to the energy and beliefs you hold within. To understand this deeper truth is to awaken to the power within you. It is to grasp that you are not a mere passenger in a chaotic world. You are an essential creator, an active participant in the unfolding of your own experience. The thoughts you dwell upon, the emotions you entertain, and the assumptions you hold about life are constantly shaping the very fabric of your reality. Nothing is arbitrary. Every moment, every interaction, every instance of joy, pain, or revelation is gently guided by the invisible hand of your consciousness. Think of the last time you felt a sudden connection with a stranger, or the last time you stumbled upon a book, a message, or a piece of advice that resonated so deeply it felt as if it were meant just for you. These occurrences are not isolated fragments. They are responses to the silent language of your heart and mind, echoing back to you through the world around you. There is a law, a divine order that governs this life, and it responds to the energy we project. Whether you are aware of it or not, your thoughts have a magnetic quality, attracting people, events, and circumstances that resonate with their frequency. This idea that nothing happens by chance is not merely an abstract concept. It is a reality that shapes every aspect of our lives. Each time you consciously direct your thoughts, each time you dwell upon a particular desire or ideal, you set in motion a ripple effect, one that extends beyond what the eyes can see. The energy you send out draws in experiences that are aligned with that energy. If you hold thoughts of fear, resentment, or doubt, those thoughts will mirror themselves in your outer world, drawing in people or events that reinforce them. But when you elevate your thoughts to those of love, faith, and inner peace, you find that life itself seems to realign to support and uphold this new frequency. Many dismiss this truth, believing instead in randomness, in the unpredictability of life. They see themselves as subjects to luck, to chance encounters and fortunate or unfortunate coincidences. But what they fail to realize is that their life is a mirror, reflecting back their inner landscape. Life does not happen to us, it happens through us. Every moment is an opportunity to observe the reflections of your inner world in the experiences you encounter. Consider how a single change in your attitude or mindset can transform your day. Imagine entering a situation with confidence and joy. See how differently people respond to you, how conversations flow with ease, and how opportunities seem to present themselves. Now imagine approaching the same situation with doubt, frustration, or resentment. The energy shifts, and the responses you receive mirror your state of mind. These experiences are not mere happenstance. They are the response of life to your energy, reflecting the truth that nothing happens without reason. This understanding gives rise to a profound freedom. If nothing is by chance, then you are not at the mercy of an indifferent universe. Instead, you are in communion with a life that listens, that responds, that reflects back to you what you hold within. You hold the reins. This does not mean that life is always predictable or devoid of hardship, but it does mean that every situation, even those that seem challenging or difficult, holds within it a purpose, a lesson, or an opportunity for growth. When you encounter difficulties, they are not punishments or accidents. They are invitations, asking you to look deeper within, to confront the thoughts and beliefs that may be blocking you from experiencing life's greater abundance and peace. The beauty of this truth is that it empowers you to change your life by changing your mind. Each thought you think, each belief you nurture, each emotion you choose to entertain carries creative power. When you align yourself with thoughts of love, gratitude, and acceptance, life mirrors these qualities back to you in myriad ways. You may find doors opening, relationships transforming, and your inner peace expanding. You are not simply reacting to life, you are a powerful co-creator, shaping each day through the consciousness you bring to it. Imagine for a moment that every experience you encounter has been gently orchestrated, that every seemingly random event has been placed there for you to learn, to grow, and to remember your creative power. In this understanding, nothing is lost, nothing is wasted, and nothing is ever in vain. Even in moments of doubt or fear, you are precisely where you need to be, encountering the perfect conditions for your next step in growth. When you embrace this awareness, life no longer feels like a series of disconnected moments, but reveals itself as a continuous, meaningful journey, each step connected to the last, each lesson preparing you for the next. You begin to see the subtle connections that exist between all things, to appreciate the divine synchronicities that have always been there, guiding you, comforting you, and urging you toward your greatest expression. Trust in this truth. Allow it to fill you with a sense of purpose, knowing that every moment has meaning, and every encounter is a part of the grand tapestry of your life, intricately designed with you at its center. In embracing this awareness, you align yourself with a life of intention and clarity. You recognize that you are never alone, that each step you take is in harmony with the rhythm of a loving, intelligent universe. And in this recognition you find peace, knowing that nothing, no matter how small, ever happens by chance. The world you experience is not a separate, external entity acting upon you. Rather, it is a mirror, an outward projection of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold within. Every event, every relationship, every perceived obstacle is a reflection of the consciousness that shapes your life. From the most mundane moments to the pivotal changes in your journey, your reality is an extension of what you consistently imagine, feel, and believe to be true. Once you understand this, you realize the power and responsibility you hold in shaping every aspect of your experience. Imagine looking at your world through a mirror. When you smile, the reflection smiles back. When you frown, the reflection frowns as well. You cannot change the reflection by manipulating the mirror. You can only change it by altering the expression you bring to it. Likewise, the outer circumstances of your life cannot truly change until you adjust the inner landscape of your mind. It is not the circumstances that dictate your happiness, success, or sense of fulfillment, but rather the thoughts and beliefs that shape your perception of them. When you recognize that your inner state precedes your outer experiences, you begin to understand that true change originates within you. For a moment, how beliefs shape perception. If you believe deeply that the world is filled with opportunities, your mind will naturally focus on those openings, seeing possibilities where others may see only limitations. In contrast, if you hold on to beliefs of scarcity or lack, you may walk right past those same opportunities without noticing them, convinced that they don't exist. This is not a matter of chance, but a testament to the power of the mind to filter and interpret reality according to its underlying assumptions. Our beliefs are powerful because they create patterns. These patterns become the lens through which we interpret our experiences. If you constantly tell yourself that you are capable and worthy, you'll find yourself moving with a quiet confidence, attracting circumstances that reinforce this belief. However, if you harbor doubts or feelings of inadequacy, you may encounter situations that seem to confirm these fears. The outer world, then, is not something to battle or change in a vacuum. It is something that will transform naturally as your inner world evolves. What's more, this principle of inner creation applies not only to the things we want, but also to the things we fear or resist. The more energy we give to resisting or fearing an outcome, the more power we grant it in our experience. Imagine a person who constantly fears rejection. By focusing on this fear, they project an energy that may unconsciously push people away, thus reinforcing the belief in rejection. This person's reality then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of their own creation. But with a shift in focus towards self-acceptance, openness and trust in others, they would begin to attract the relationships they seek, a new reality that mirrors their inner transformation. It is crucial to understand that this power of inner creation is active at all times, whether we are aware of it or not. Every thought you repeat, every feeling you indulge, every assumption you maintain is setting the stage for your future experiences. This is why cultivating a conscious awareness of your thoughts and emotions is so transformative. By choosing thoughts that align with the life you desire, you are planting seeds that will eventually blossom into tangible reality. Imagine a person who wakes up each day with gratitude, who visualizes their goals as already achieved, who feels a sense of joy for the life they are building. This person's energy is magnetic, and the world responds to it by presenting people, situations, and events that match this inner state of abundance and peace. They live in alignment with their highest aspirations, because they are shaping their reality from a place of intentional joy and gratitude. The key here is not to view gratitude or visualization as mere techniques, but to genuinely feel and believe in the life you are calling forth. The universe responds not to empty words or forced thoughts, but to genuine, heartfelt conviction. Of course, the journey of inner transformation is not always simple or immediate. Many of us carry layers of limiting beliefs, fears, and patterns learned from years of conditioning. Yet, these too can be transformed through the power of consciousness. By recognizing limiting beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones, you gradually reshape your inner world, which in turn reshapes your outer experience. Even when challenges arise, they can be seen as opportunities to deepen your understanding, to refine your beliefs, and to strengthen your alignment with the life you truly desire. It's important to realize that this inner creative power is available to everyone at all times. You do not need special circumstances, resources, or skills to begin. All you need is a willingness to look within and a commitment to cultivate a vision that aligns with your highest self. When you approach each moment with awareness and intention, life itself becomes a canvas for you to paint upon, a blank slate upon which you can project the colors, shapes, and forms of your choosing. Understanding that your reality is formed from within is not merely an intellectual concept. It is a profound truth that can liberate you from feeling bound by external circumstances. It opens up the possibility of change, growth, and freedom in every area of life. No longer must you wait for others to act, for conditions to improve, or for opportunities to knock on your door. Instead, you become the source of these experiences, creating them from the depth of your mind and heart. As you move forward, remember that each thought, each feeling, each belief is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Choose wisely, not with a sense of pressure, but with a sense of joy and empowerment. Create from a place of love, from a place of peace, and from a place of knowing that all you seek is already within you. The world you wish to see is simply waiting for you to awaken to it, to believe in it, and to nurture it from the depths of your being. By transforming your inner world, you transform your life, stepping into the awareness that you are both the artist and the masterpiece, shaping reality in the image of your highest vision. In the heart of each person lies a power so profound, so quietly transformative, that it often goes unnoticed. Most live their lives unaware of the immense potential within them, forgetting that they are the architects of their own existence. To awaken to this power is to recognize that you are not merely a passive observer of your life, but an active creator, equipped with the tools to shape and manifest experiences aligned with your deepest desires and highest ideals. Your power resides in your mind, in your thoughts, and in the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world. These beliefs are not just abstract ideas, they are the seeds that germinate and blossom into the tangible aspects of your life. Every thought you think and every emotion you feel is energy that radiates outward, influencing the conditions and circumstances that surround you. When you understand this, you begin to see that the power to change your life, to overcome obstacles, and to create joy and abundance has always been within you. Life does not just happen to you, it happens through you. Most people live in a state of sleep, unaware of the subtle relationship between their inner state and their outer experiences. They react to life's events as though they are disconnected from them, as though they are powerless in the face of circumstances. Yet the truth is that what you experience is intimately connected to the energy you bring into the world. Your perceptions, your responses, and the lens through which you view life all serve to shape the reality you encounter. If you are willing to explore this truth, to look within and discover the power of your own consciousness, you will find that you hold the key to a life of purpose, fulfillment, and freedom. To awaken to your power, you must first take responsibility for your inner world. This means recognizing that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are not trivial or inconsequential, they are the blueprint for your life. The mind is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used constructively or destructively. Many allow their minds to drift, filled with thoughts of fear, doubt, and limitation, unaware that these thoughts are like silent prayers, drawing similar energies into their lives. But when you consciously direct your mind, when you choose thoughts that are aligned with love, peace, and possibility, you set in motion a creative force that transforms the landscape of your life. This is not to say that life will always be free of challenges. Obstacles and hardships are part of the human experience, but they are not there to defeat you, they are there to help you grow. When you approach life with the understanding that you are a powerful creator, even difficulties become opportunities. You realize that each challenge carries within it a lesson, a gift that, once embraced, serves to elevate your consciousness and strengthen your resolve. You begin to see that you are not defined by your circumstances, rather, you are defined by how you respond to them. This shift in perspective is the essence of awakening to your power. One of the most profound aspects of your power is your ability to change your beliefs. Many live with limiting beliefs inherited from others' ideas about what is possible, what they deserve, or who they are. These beliefs, however, are not fixed, they are malleable and can be reshaped. By identifying and releasing beliefs that no longer serve you, you free yourself from the invisible chains that have held you back. You step into a state of openness and possibility, allowing new and empowering beliefs to take root. This is not merely a mental exercise, it is an act of liberation, one that clears the path for you to realize your highest potential. Your power also lies in your capacity to imagine, to dream, and to visualize a life that aligns with your deepest desires. The mind is naturally creative, and when you engage in conscious imagination, you tap into a wellspring of potential. Visualization is not about daydreaming or wishful thinking, it is a focused and intentional act of creation. By imagining yourself living the life you desire, by feeling the emotions associated with your ideal state, you align your energy with that reality. This is the law of attraction in action. When your inner state matches the energy of what you desire, the outer world must respond accordingly. But perhaps the most essential element of awakening to your power is trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust in the unfolding of your life. Awakening does not mean that you will always have certainty or that every step will be clear. Instead, it means that you can move forward in faith, knowing that you are supported, guided, and that each experience is a part of your growth. Trust allows you to release the need for control, to surrender fear, and to embrace the unknown with a sense of adventure. When you trust in your power, you allow life to flow through you, bringing into being the experiences that are meant for you. Awakening to your power is a journey, a gradual unfolding of self-awareness and mastery. It begins with a simple decision to turn inward, to explore the depths of your own consciousness, and to recognize the creative force that lies within you. It involves cultivating habits of thought that are aligned with love, gratitude, and joy. It requires the courage to face your fears, to dismantle limiting beliefs, and to embrace the fullness of who you are. And above all, it demands that you commit to living as an active participant in your life, taking each step with the awareness that you are both the author and the story. In this journey, you will find that life becomes richer, more vibrant, and filled with a sense of purpose. You no longer feel at the mercy of circumstances, for you realize that every experience is shaped, in part, by your own consciousness. You see life as a dance between the inner and the outer, each influencing and reflecting the other. By awakening to your power, you reclaim your role as a creator, stepping into the fullness of your being, and opening yourself to a life of meaning, beauty, and boundless possibility. In this awakening, you remember that you are not a mere observer, you are life itself, unfolding in infinite potential. Life is filled with subtle signs, guideposts that, when noticed and understood, illuminate the path to our highest potential. These signs are often quiet, appearing in unexpected moments, and they serve as reminders that we are not wandering aimlessly. Instead, we are journeying along a path rich with purpose and meaning. Signs can take many forms: a synchronistic encounter, a phrase you happen to overhear at the right moment, or a sudden insight that clarifies your direction. They remind us that we are never alone, and that, even when things feel chaotic or unclear, there is an underlying intelligence guiding us toward growth and fulfillment. Signs act as whispers from the universe, nudging us toward our true purpose. Sometimes they reveal themselves when we feel lost, pointing us in a new direction when our current path no longer serves us. They help us notice the possibilities that might otherwise go unnoticed and invite us to examine our lives with fresh eyes. These guideposts can appear in unexpected ways, through people we meet or events that seem almost magical in their timing. Each sign is like a breadcrumb, encouraging us to trust the journey even when we can't see the whole picture. To recognize signs as guideposts, we must be willing to cultivate a sense of openness and awareness. This requires us to slow down, to quiet the noise of our busy minds, and to listen to the deeper currents of our intuition. Many people rush through life without noticing the small details that carry significant meaning. Yet, when we become more present, we naturally heighten our sensitivity to these subtle messages. We begin to see connections and patterns that offer guidance, helping us make choices that align with our inner truth. One powerful aspect of signs is their ability to reflect our inner state. They often show up when we need reassurance or a gentle reminder to stay on course. For instance, if you're considering a major life decision, such as moving to a new city or changing careers, you might start noticing symbols or messages that resonate with your intentions. These signs serve as affirmations, mirroring your desire and reinforcing your sense of direction. They're like cosmic encouragement, reminding you that you're supported on your path and that your choices are aligned with a larger purpose. Sometimes, however, signs appear as warnings or invitations to re-evaluate our choices. They alert us to potential pitfalls or guide us away from situations that do not serve our growth. Imagine you're pursuing a relationship or job that, on the surface, seems ideal, but you start noticing subtle signs of discomfort or obstacles that seem persistent. These signs are not meant to discourage you, but to prompt reflection. They urge you to pause, to question whether this path aligns with your deeper values and aspirations. When we heed such guideposts, we often find that they spare us unnecessary struggle, gently redirecting us toward what truly nourishes our souls. For many, signs are accompanied by a feeling of resonance, an intuitive knowing that surpasses logical explanation. You might feel an inexplicable sense of peace or excitement when you recognize a sign, even if its meaning isn't fully clear at that moment. This feeling is a powerful guide, urging you to trust what you cannot yet understand. Our inner being responds to truth in ways the intellect sometimes cannot grasp. By honoring these feelings, we allow ourselves to move with a sense of trust, open to the mystery and magic that life presents. There's a beautiful balance to be found in following signs. While they serve as guideposts, they are not meant to control us or dictate every choice we make. They are there to inspire reflection and connection, helping us attune to our inner wisdom. Our journey is not about rigidly interpreting every event or forcing meaning onto every encounter. Rather, it's about cultivating a gentle awareness, an openness to receiving guidance while remaining grounded in our own intuition and discernment. When we approach signs with this balance, they become a source of wisdom rather than distraction. it is also essential to view signs as personal and unique. What resonates as a sign for one person may not hold the same significance for another. Your journey is unlike anyone else's, and the signs you receive are tailored to your individual path. They reflect your personal growth, your dreams, and the lessons you need to learn. By honoring the uniqueness of your signs, you honor your own individuality and your connection to the divine intelligence that speaks directly to your soul. Signs remind us of the interconnectedness of all things. They dissolve the illusion of separation, showing us that we are part of a larger, interconnected web of life. When we recognize a sign and feel its guidance, we're reminded that our lives are part of something much greater. This awareness can be profoundly comforting, especially during times of uncertainty. It allows us to move forward with a sense of belonging and purpose, knowing that we are not isolated in our journey, but are woven into the fabric of life's greater design. Following signs as guideposts requires a faith not in an external power, but in the intelligence within you and the journey you are on. It is an invitation to trust that everything is unfolding in divine timing, even when the path ahead is unclear. By attuning to these subtle messages, you gain a sense of alignment with your true self and with the life that is waiting for you to step into it. This is a life not of aimless wandering, but of purposeful, guided growth. As you walk your path, trust that every sign you encounter is a message, a nudge, a reminder from the universe itself, gently guiding you toward the fulfillment of your highest potential. In a world where loss feels ever present, where things come and go, and relationships change, it is natural to hold a fear of losing the people, opportunities, and comforts we cherish. This fear, however, can quietly shape our lives in ways we may not realize, subtly influencing our choices, interactions, and emotional well-being. It can lead us to cling tightly to the things we value, fearing that if we loosen our grip, we might lose them. But ironically, the fear of loss itself often keeps us from truly experiencing the fullness of life. Releasing this fear is not about dismissing the value of what we hold dear, but rather embracing the idea that loss is an inevitable part of the human experience, and we can move through it with grace, peace, and a profound sense of trust. At the heart of the fear of loss is a belief in scarcity. We fear that if something is lost, it cannot be replaced, that there isn't enough of what we desire to fulfill us. This mindset reinforces an attachment to external things, relationships, material wealth, status, thinking they are essential to our happiness or identity. In truth, however, nothing external can define who we are. When we realize that our value and wholeness are intrinsic, we become less dependent on what we hold in the outer world. It is a shift from seeking security in impermanent things to finding a grounded sense of completeness within ourselves. To release the fear of loss, we must also examine our attachment to control. Often we fear loss because we feel out of control, powerless to hold on to the things we care about. This attachment to control is an illusion, however, as life operates on its own terms. We can make choices, set intentions, and do our best to care for what we love. But ultimately, there are forces beyond our influence. When we let go of the need to control, we allow life to unfold as it is meant to. This surrender is not about passivity or helplessness. It is a conscious choice to trust in the wisdom of life's unfolding, to believe that whatever comes and goes is part of a greater design for our growth and fulfillment. One of the most powerful ways to release fear of loss is by shifting our focus from holding on to gratitude. Gratitude is the act of appreciating what we have, not as possessions, but as experiences that enrich our lives. When we are grateful, we acknowledge the value of each moment, each person, and each opportunity without needing to own or keep them indefinitely. Gratitude allows us to cherish what we have without becoming overly attached, understanding that everything we encounter is a gift that enriches us, even if only temporarily. This shift from clinging to appreciating transforms our relationship with the world around us, making us more resilient and open-hearted. Another transformative approach to releasing the fear of loss is to embrace love rather than attachment. Love does not seek to possess or control, it allows, nurtures, and frees. When we love without attachment, we can enjoy relationships without fearing their end. We can invest in our passions without needing them to define us. And we can appreciate beauty without trying to capture or hold it. This is not a cold or detached approach, rather, it is a liberating one. Love, when free from attachment, allows us to be fully present with what we have, knowing that even if things change, the experience of loving and being loved is its own reward. In this way, love becomes an eternal presence, even when the objects of our love are no longer with us. We must also remember that loss is not always an end. It often serves as a doorway to something new. When we release something, we create space in our lives for new possibilities, experiences, and growth. Often the things we fear losing are those that we have outgrown, or those that no longer serve our highest good. By releasing the fear of loss, we open ourselves to the wisdom that life, in its infinite intelligence, sometimes removes what we do not need in order to make room for what we truly desire. This perspective shifts loss from being a tragedy to an opportunity for renewal and transformation. A vital step in releasing the fear of loss is trusting in our resilience. Many people fear loss because they doubt their own capacity to cope, fearing they will be left broken or unable to move forward. Yet within each of us is an inner strength, a capacity to endure, adapt, and grow that we may not even recognize until we face hardship. When we trust in our resilience, we stop fearing what might happen and instead have confidence in our ability to handle whatever comes our way. Life may change, and we may experience loss, but we are not defined by these experiences. Rather, they are the stepping stones to a greater awareness of our strength and courage. Releasing the fear of loss is not about denying the pain that sometimes accompanies it. It is natural to grieve what we lose. However, by releasing the fear, we allow ourselves to live more fully, to love more deeply, and to experience life in all its richness without the shadow of anxiety holding us back. We learn that we are not diminished by what we lose. We are enriched by what we experience, by the love we give, and by the gratitude we feel. In this way, life becomes a journey not of holding on, but of flowing with the endless, beautiful changes that are a part of our growth and unfolding. Trusting your intuition is one of the most powerful choices you can make in life. Intuition is often defined as that inner knowing, the feeling that arises without logical reasoning, but somehow resonates deeply within us. It's the quiet, often subtle voice that guides you toward what feels true and right, even if you can't fully explain why. Learning to trust this inner voice can lead to greater clarity, confidence, and alignment with your authentic self. Intuition offers you wisdom from a deeper place, one that goes beyond the noise of the mind and connects us with a profound inner wisdom. When we trust it, we open ourselves to a life of more ease and alignment, where decisions feel lighter and more fulfilling. Our society tends to place heavy emphasis on logic and reason, which can often drown out the subtler signals of intuition. We are taught from a young age to prioritize measurable evidence and rational thinking, leaving little room for the intangible but real guidance that intuition provides. This emphasis on logic alone can lead to overthinking, analysis paralysis, and self-doubt. Often this doubt arises when we sense a direction inwardly, but because we can't fully rationalize it, we hesitate to follow it. However, intuition doesn't work through logic, it bypasses it, offering insights that may seem to come out of nowhere but are rooted in a deeper understanding. Learning to honor this wisdom requires us to move beyond doubt and into trust, to value the non-linear intelligence that intuition brings. One of the most freeing aspects of intuition is that it requires no external validation. Unlike decisions based on external opinions, intuition is an entirely personal, internal guide. It's an intimate connection between you and your inner self, and this direct line of communication allows you to bypass the noise of others' opinions. When we rely solely on external validation, we surrender our power to others, seeking their approval to feel secure in our choices. Trusting intuition, on the other hand, is an act of self-empowerment. It says, I believe in my ability to discern what's best for me. This shift allows you to follow a path that truly resonates with your values, regardless of whether or not it aligns with others' expectations. One way to cultivate a deeper connection to your intuition is by practicing mindfulness and self-reflection. These practices quiet the mind, creating a space where intuition can emerge more clearly. By slowing down, observing your thoughts without judgment, and tuning into your body's sensations, you can begin to discern between the mind's chatter and the calm knowing that intuition brings. Often, intuition manifests as a sense of calm, excitement, or even discomfort that urges you to move in a specific direction. Paying attention to these sensations helps you recognize your intuition's unique language, making it easier to differentiate from habitual fears or desires. A critical aspect of trusting your intuition is overcoming the fear of making mistakes. Many people hesitate to follow their intuition because they fear the potential consequences of their actions. However, the path of intuition is not always about avoiding challenges or discomfort. Rather, it's about alignment with your truest self. Sometimes, following your intuition might lead you through difficult situations, but these experiences ultimately serve your growth and bring you closer to your highest potential. Mistakes are often the mind's perception of deviations from a predetermined outcome. In reality, every step, even those that seem off track, can offer valuable lessons and insights. When we view intuition as a guide, rather than a guarantee of a smooth path, we free ourselves to embrace the journey fully. Another important quality of intuition is that it operates from a place of wholeness. While logic often fragments our decisions into pros and cons, intuition synthesizes everything, offering a response that feels complete. This sense of wholeness often brings a clarity that eliminates the need for overthinking or weighing endless options. It's as if intuition sees the bigger picture, taking into account things we cannot consciously know. Many people describe an intuitive nudge as feeling just right, as though all parts of their being, mind, heart, and spirit are aligned. Trusting this wholeness allows us to move forward with a sense of peace, even if the path ahead is uncertain. Intuition often asks us to take a leap of faith, stepping into the unknown without full assurance of the outcome. This can feel uncomfortable, as we are conditioned to seek certainty and predictability. However, embracing the unknown is part of the journey toward authentic living. When you listen to your intuition and follow it despite the uncertainty, you strengthen your capacity to trust in yourself and in life's unfolding. This trust becomes a foundation of resilience, allowing you to navigate challenges with confidence and grace. You begin to realize that you don't need all the answers up front. Instead, you trust that each step will reveal itself as you move forward. Another powerful way to strengthen your intuition is by reflecting on past experiences. Think about times when you trusted your inner voice and things turned out well, or even times when you ignored it and later wished you hadn't. Revisiting these moments provides a clearer understanding of how intuition speaks to you. Perhaps you felt a sense of peace, excitement, or clarity when you followed your intuition. Or maybe you noticed a lingering unease when you ignored it. Recognizing these patterns helps you identify and trust your intuitive signals in future situations. Trusting your intuition is a journey of self-discovery. The more you tune in, the more you learn about your inner landscape and the deeper truths that guide you. It's a journey of becoming aware of your true desires, values, and purpose. Through intuition, you connect with a part of yourself that is wise, authentic, and aligned with your highest potential. Each time you listen and act on your intuition, you strengthen this connection, building a life that resonates with your deepest self. Intuition is not a mystical force reserved for a select few. It's a natural part of being human, an inner compass available to all of us. Yet, in our fast-paced world, it requires intentional cultivation. By creating space for stillness, releasing the need for external approval, and trusting in your own wisdom, you can develop a relationship with your intuition that enriches every aspect of your life. Trusting your intuition is an act of courage, a leap towards self-trust that ultimately leads to greater clarity, fulfillment, and alignment. As you learn to listen to and honor this inner guide, you unlock a life that is not only fulfilling but truly and uniquely yours. Assumptions shape the way we experience and interpret the world. They are the beliefs we hold often unconsciously about ourselves, others, and life itself. Many of these assumptions are deeply ingrained, formed early in life through the influence of family, culture, and personal experiences. While they may seem like unchangeable facts, assumptions are actually fluid. They are perspectives that we can challenge, shift, and even release if they no longer serve us. Shifting our assumptions is a transformative process that can open doors to new possibilities, free us from limiting beliefs, and allow us to create a more fulfilling reality. By examining and consciously shifting our assumptions, we unlock a powerful tool to create change from within. The assumptions we hold about ourselves are some of the most impactful. They shape how we approach challenges, relate to others, and even limit or expand our aspirations. For example, if we assume that we are not capable enough or that success is difficult, we may approach opportunities with hesitation, setting ourselves up for a self-fulfilling prophecy of limitation. Such assumptions create a lens through which we interpret everything, affecting our confidence, creativity, and resilience. When we recognize these limiting self-assumptions, we begin to see how they subtly influence our behavior and choices. By shifting these beliefs, replacing them with empowering alternatives like "I am capable" or "I am deserving of success," we create an inner foundation that supports, rather than sabotages, our dreams. Assumptions about others also shape our relationships. If we assume people are untrustworthy or that they are always judging us, we may interact with them defensively or hold back from forming deeper connections. These assumptions act as filters, causing us to see only what confirms our beliefs and ignore contradictory evidence. This creates a cycle where our assumptions reinforce our perceptions, and our perceptions reinforce our assumptions. By becoming aware of our biases and replacing them with open-mindedness, we allow ourselves to experience relationships in a new light. Instead of assuming others will let us down, we can approach interactions with curiosity and a willingness to see the good in people. This shift not only enhances our relationships, but also invites a more compassionate and open-hearted way of being. The assumptions we hold about life itself are perhaps the most foundational. Beliefs like "life is hard" or "there's never enough" create a mindset of struggle and scarcity. When we assume that life is a battleground or that we must constantly strive just to survive, we close ourselves off from the potential ease and abundance that are available to us. These assumptions often come from past experiences, disappointments, or cultural conditioning, and they may seem fixed. However, life is neutral. It is our perception that assigns meaning. When we choose to see life as a supportive, abundant force, we begin to attract experiences that reflect that belief. Shifting our assumptions about life is not about denying difficulties, rather, it is about choosing to focus on opportunities, blessings, and growth, cultivating an outlook that empowers rather than constrains us. One powerful way to shift assumptions is by practicing awareness. Assumptions often operate in the background of our minds, unnoticed and unquestioned. By bringing them into conscious awareness, we can examine them and determine whether they align with our true desires. Start by observing your reactions to situations and the stories you tell yourself about them. Notice any recurring thoughts or judgments that arise automatically. For example, if you face a new challenge and immediately think, "I'm not good enough," pause and ask yourself where that assumption came from. Is it based on reality? Or is it a story you've been telling yourself for years? By identifying these habitual thought patterns, you gain the power to question and change them. Challenging our assumptions often requires a willingness to explore new perspectives. Once you recognize a limiting assumption, ask yourself what alternative beliefs might be possible. For example, if you've always assumed that success requires constant struggle, consider the possibility that success can come with joy and flow. Visualize this new belief, imagining how it would feel if it were true. When you mentally and emotionally align with this alternative perspective, you start to experience life in ways that confirm it. Practicing this shift may feel uncomfortable at first, as it requires letting go of long-held beliefs, but it is precisely this discomfort that signals growth. Another effective method for shifting assumptions is to look for evidence that contradicts them. If you assume that people are generally unkind, make it a point to notice acts of kindness around you. If you believe that you're not capable, Reflect on times when you've succeeded or overcome challenges in the past. Often we filter out evidence that contradicts our assumptions, reinforcing them without realizing it. By intentionally seeking out proof of a different reality, we weaken the hold of limiting assumptions and create space for more expansive, empowering beliefs. A significant aspect of shifting assumptions involves releasing fear and control. Many of our assumptions are rooted in a desire to protect ourselves from perceived threats or uncertainties. For example, if we assume that failure is a disaster, it may be because we fear the discomfort of disappointment or judgment. But when we examine these fears and begin to trust that we can handle whatever comes our way, we can adopt more empowering beliefs. Instead of seeing failure as a catastrophe, we can assume it is simply a step in the learning process. This shift frees us to take risks and pursue our passions without the heavy burden of fear-based assumptions holding us back. Shifting assumptions is a lifelong practice that requires patience and self-compassion. Changing beliefs that have shaped our reality for years is not an overnight process, and it's natural to encounter resistance. There will be times when old assumptions resurface, and that's okay. The goal is not perfection but progress. Each time you catch yourself falling back into a limiting assumption and choose to reframe it, you strengthen your ability to see beyond habitual patterns. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, transforming not only your inner world but also the life you create for yourself. Embracing the unknown with courage is an invitation to step beyond the familiar and venture into spaces of possibility and discovery. Life's journey inevitably presents us with situations and choices that lead into uncharted territories, those vast expanses of uncertainty where clarity may feel distant. Yet, when we summon the courage to face the unknown, we unlock a power within us to not only survive but to thrive. Courage in the face of the unknown is not about the absence of fear, but about moving forward despite it. It is about acknowledging the uncertainty, leaning into it, and allowing ourselves to grow through the experience. One of the most challenging aspects of embracing the unknown is releasing our need for control. We naturally seek stability, clinging to routines and structures that give us a sense of predictability. This can make us hesitant to step into new experiences, as they require us to surrender that control and let life unfold as it will. The unknown, however, holds immense potential precisely because it is outside of our control. It's a space where magic happens, where possibilities are boundless, and where growth occurs. By letting go of our attachment to specific outcomes, we allow ourselves to flow with life, opening doors we didn't even know existed. And courage here is about trusting the process, letting go of rigid expectations, and being open to the surprising paths life might take us on. Our comfort zones, though seemingly safe, often keep us limited. They are built on familiar patterns, beliefs, and actions, and while they provide security, they can also create a stagnant life. Embracing the unknown is a radical act of stepping out of this comfort zone and into a place of greater potential. Imagine all the opportunities and experiences that lie just outside of your familiar world. These are the unknowns that can bring richness and expansion into your life. Moving toward them requires courage, as it often involves discomfort and risk. Yet each step into unfamiliar territory builds resilience, stretches our perspective, and helps us become more adaptable and confident. Over time, we realize that discomfort is not a threat, but a sign of growth, a signal that we are expanding beyond the limits of who we once were. Fear is a natural companion on the journey into the unknown, but it need not be an obstacle. Often we fear what we cannot see or understand, imagining worst-case scenarios and envisioning outcomes that may never come to pass. However, fear can also be a guiding light. It draws our attention to areas of potential growth and shows us where we still need to develop courage. Instead of avoiding fear, we can embrace it as a signal of where we are about to grow. By acknowledging the fear, allowing ourselves to feel it, and moving forward despite it, we transform fear from a barrier into a doorway. Courage is not about being fearless, it is about learning to coexist with fear, understanding that it can walk beside us without dictating our path. Embracing the unknown also deepens our resilience. Life is filled with inevitable ups and downs, And when we step into uncertain situations, we develop the capacity to navigate these fluctuations with grace. Resilience is the ability to adapt, to bounce back, and to keep going even when circumstances are challenging. The unknown tests and strengthens this ability, teaching us to rely on our inner resources rather than on external security. Each time we face uncertainty, we grow stronger, more flexible, and better equipped to handle whatever life presents. We learn that we are capable of enduring hardship, that we can find solutions in the most unexpected places, and that we can trust ourselves to rise above adversity. When we embrace the unknown, we also open ourselves to creativity and innovation. New ideas, insights, and perspectives often emerge when we step out of the predictable and into the unfamiliar. In this space, we are not confined by old beliefs or limited by habitual thinking. Instead, we are free to imagine, explore, and experiment. The unknown is a fertile ground for creativity, a space where we can break away from routine and discover new ways of thinking and being. Many of the greatest inventions, artistic expressions, and breakthroughs have come from individuals who dared to explore the unknown, allowing themselves to dream beyond what was immediately visible. The beauty of embracing the unknown is that it teaches us to live fully in the present moment. When we are uncertain of the future, we naturally focus on what is directly in front of us. This presence heightens our awareness, allowing us to savor life's subtleties and notice things we might otherwise overlook. We become more attuned to our surroundings, more appreciative of small joys, and more mindful of each experience. Embracing the unknown shifts our focus from needing to control the future to fully inhabiting the now, where life is rich, vibrant, and alive. Embracing the unknown with courage is a path to self-liberation. It frees us from the constraints of fear, control, and limitation, allowing us to live more authentically and expansively. We learn that we do not need to have all the answers to move forward, that we can trust life even when we don't know where it is leading. This surrender is a profound act of faith, a recognition that life is an unfolding journey and that each step, no matter how uncertain, is meaningful. When we open ourselves to the unknown, we are saying yes to life in its fullest form, with all its mystery, beauty, and possibility. Embracing the unknown with courage is a lifelong practice, a journey of continuous growth, and a testament to the strength of the human spirit. It requires patience, resilience, and an open heart, but it rewards us with freedom, expansion, and a deeper connection to ourselves. As we venture forward into the unknown, we realize that we are not alone. Life itself walks beside us, guiding us toward experiences that shape and transform us. In the end, it is not the certainty of the path that matters, but the courage to walk it. Each step into the unknown brings us closer to who we truly are, inviting us to embrace our limitless potential and live a life of purpose and passion. In embracing the unknown, we uncover a powerful truth. Life's greatest gifts often lie just beyond our comfort zones, waiting for us to step forward with courage. It is in facing uncertainty that we grow, build resilience, and connect with our authentic selves. By releasing control, trusting in our inner strength, and allowing creativity to flourish, we open ourselves to experiences that enrich and transform us. We learn that fear is not a barrier but a guide, that self-trust can carry us through any unknown, and that true freedom lies in surrendering to life's unfolding journey. Thank you for joining in this exploration of courage, trust, and the beauty of the unknown. May you step forward boldly, embracing all that life has to offer.